And welcome back to Roll for Story. Promise we'll get to that temporal tower one day. But for now, you guys have at least completed the resealing of Kalandoth, making sure the powerful primordial elementals don't escape. Progenitus, or at least one of his heads, are now firmly slumbering asleep. You got the spell, invoke the Hydra, to be able to utilize some of its power and keep it in a weakened state as long as that power is used to wreak havoc across the world. I think Tidal Wave and Shadowheart decided to Shadowstorm decided to come back with you, just get some rest on the airship, but they said that they'll probably just stay a few more days in Galandoth just to clean up, make sure everything else is secure. And after that, you decided you would perhaps head on out towards Wheat, since the 10, I think, mentioned there's still a prison problem on Fort Midden, where prisoners are running riot. They have several large cannons aimed directly at the port of Weep. So it's like they have the entire port, all the boats at gunpoint. Not to mention, they have many hostages inside there. All the guards, all the wardens that were supposed to be in charge of the prison have likely been put in the prison cells themselves. And yeah, it's a complete role reversal where now the pirates are in charge. The town is unable to figure out a way to fully deal with them, and it's kind of, for the most part, adhered to their demands, since what else can you do? If you move upon them, they see you coming, they're just going to fire with their cannons at the bay. Now, they have been securing cargo from ships that come into the bay, commandeering them, and then therefore gathering resources. So you haven't been able to starve them out either. They've got quite a lot of manpower. Remember, there was something in the realm of like probably 300 prisoners. And of course, at the top of all of these guys is the ringleader himself, Hooksaw. He's the one behind all of this. And he's likely the one in charge. So, feel free to discuss your plans as to how to approach this island fortress and figure things out. The maps are on the screen. You can see all of the different levels. You were in this place quite intricately, and Datan's probably visited it many times before, so you know the full layout. So you know there is an entrance, like a drainage tunnel at the bottom. There's also you can just land on the top, but there's what is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like 6 cannons on the top that face every direction, and then there's a lower level beyond that on the exterior, which is another like 3 cannons. And there's a central shaft that goes all the way down to the bottom, so you can effectively access any floor through the top. See this see this rectangle in the center? You'll see that same rectangle across every single map, because you can basically fly down to the bottom through it. Don't know if that helped you or not, but
yeah. And then the brig has a platform going across it, so if we wanted to, we'd have to glide past that.
There is a bridge, yeah.
Yeah, we have to glide past it if we want to go even lower, so to speak.
Sure. Also looking at the artwork, you can see the bridge as well.
Yeah. So we've got a large number of people all of whom are a problem. Hooksaw is obviously the biggest problem and needs to be dealt with. And if we can, as we suggested, potentially replace Hooksaw with one of us, which will have to be someone pretty good at talking and lying and things like that, and looks towards Andy. If we can get them out of the way, we can potentially then have a bit more say. But even then, I don't know how loyal these sorts are. So is it you cut off the head of the snake and the body dies, or is it just going to be like a hydra and another head pops up?
It's honestly hard to say. Some of these people have been here for a very long time for things that are... There's a reason they're here.
If we can replace Hooksaw without anyone noticing and also release, then stealthily take out those guarding the prisoners and get the prisoners out and maybe get them armed, that might not be a bad idea. I imagine
locating Hooksaw for a start, and then locating where the prisoners are being kept so that we can release them.
There is also the case that if you want me to replace this Hooksaw, we do have to kill him for me to take over his likeness.
Yeah.
We could do that. We've dealt with bad people before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but still, that is another layer.
Yeah.
It's you have to kill them, don't you? You have to make the last blow to take on their personality.
Oh yeah, you've got your whole shadow. I was thinking just like an old self thing, but yeah, that's even better.
I mean, if you want me to do it convincingly, it's the only way to do it. Otherwise, I'm imagining this Hooksaw person isn't a tiny little desert girl.
No. And so do they just have to die near you, or do you have to be the one that kills them?
Oh no, when a humanoid dies within 30 feet of you, you can magically capture its shadow using your reaction.
So...
You can use the shadow as an action. When you do so, it vanishes, magically transforming into a disguise that appears on you. You now look like the dead person, but healthy and alive. This disguise lasts for an hour.
So
while you're in this disguise, you gain access to all the information that humanoid would freely share with casual acquaintance.
Oh, cool. So, Team Andy, whoever that ends up being, do you all need to disguise yourselves as pirates? That'd be a good...
You are pirates.
It's true. Also, I blew up a boat once, so that makes me a pirate.
You also travel in a sky ship.
We do.
I mean,
but they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't know that.
And probably shouldn't know that.
Just some R's?
Arr!
Yeah, but they need, like, bandana. Let's not cut off any limbs. That's a line.
No, the only person who does that is you.
And I'm the one that looks like a pirate.
Yeah.
But also, these guys know you, right? They know your face.
That's true. So it's...
But,
however, I'm probably in the same boat as Karius as I have the firepower, so I'm probably should be on team stop the cannons.
I mean,
Great.
I'm...
Oh. Yeah.
I'm not...
Just quickly mention it. On the Overseer's readout, there is a square room on the bottom right. That is the munitions hold. This is where all the gunpowder, cannonballs would be stored.
Ooh.
I could just blow that up.
That might...
And then you lose a quarter of a prison.
Yeah, that might be a big explosion.
As a last resort, though, that's not a bad plan.
I could arcane lock it. if there's doors, does it look like there's doors? They look like doorways here.
Titan would know. Is there a door? I'm assuming there's a door if it's full of munitions.
And more so than that, there's like a gatehouse to the actual
Perfect.
munitions.
So I could arcane lock both the gates, and then we just have to stop.
This place though, you have to imagine, is crawling with prisoners. The likelihood is that you'll be locking someone in with that.
But then they can't get to the cannons.
The cannons will likely have a small amount of ammo on them, but
they'll have enough for several shots. They wouldn't just be like, all right, that's one shot, then walk all the way to the munitions.
Yeah. So we have to stop the cannons, potentially stop the munitions from being accessible.
How big from top to bottom in terms of height is the prison? Would you say?
I can't remember. Okay.
Oh boy. Well, if each floor is like, call it 10 feet, that's like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then there's a central guard tower. It's maybe 70 feet tall.
Okay.
It's massive.
So in terms, as we know the layout and we know it well enough, if necessary and it came to it, providing they've got the spell slots left, Eirina could easily just teleport to the munitions place to blow it up. Because 500 and with if they went for, they did invoke the flame thing, investiture of flame, they're immune
to fire, but not force.
Yeah.
That's a massive explosion, and obviously there's probably guns in there.
Yeah. But that could be a last resort if we need to, like, you know, or as a threat. Sure. It's a shame there's no way we could put something like remote in there and then just be like, well, if you don't let us go, we're blowing up the munitions.
This image here should give you a good indicator of just how tall this place really is.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, if we did rid them of the gunpowder and cannonballs, then they would have very limited shot in the future.
I mean, if we wanted to do it in a less volatile manner, there's the option of just making the gunpowder too wet to be used.
That is
I could
not a bad shot.
I could use something like watery sphere or create or destroy water in order to basically flood it. But in terms of...
roll all the cannonballs out the windows down the mountainside, well, island side.
Patient says the problem with that is there's still the issue with the cannons being aimed at the bay.
Yeah.
As soon as they know they're under an attack, then they'll order the cannons to be fired at the bay.
The first thing we have to do is disable those cannons.
But we need to be doing that whilst making sure the guards can't be used as hostages. So we really do need
the other issue.
We really do need a two-pronged strike for this.
The only other option is to gain control of their leader, Hooksaw, and give the orders ourselves. But in order to do that, you would need to find where they are and plan a strike that is both unseen and undetected.
I can spy on Hooksaw for us.
How so?
Scry.
Okay.
I can do that. But if it doesn't work, then I can't do it for another day.
If it doesn't work, do they know whether it's worked or not?
No, they don't.
No.
Okay.
It just means that if they pass, then I can't do it until the next day.
Just considering based
So-
on...
There is another
You want to do it
alternative.
now, then?
What's
I
that?
could just walk through the front door and they would take me to him.
Huh.
That's true.
That was...
He'd think he's getting what he wants, but it's again, I'm not a very good actor.
But if Andy was with you... Unless...
Yeah, how do you get everyone with you? Otherwise, it's just handing you over.
From your knowledge to Tan, how savvy are these pirates with magic?
There's a lot of them here. I don't know them all off the top of my head, I'm afraid. There's some prisoners here that have been here longer than I've been alive.
Because if Andy was invisible, they could probably quite easily follow the Tan. Same for
The
Kesh'an.
problem is, again, that I don't know.
I mean,
Weep was very against magic. There's probably a good portion of prisoners here that could use magic for nefarious reasons. Hence why Weep doesn't like magic users. They're coming around. They're getting there.
we do also have to consider that on the last time we saw Huxor, we were allies trying to get out of the prison together. Or get out of being
allies, but
well, we were working as allies to be freed from being prisoners.
the drow. I don't remember his name, but he was
Helpful?
I think he could potentially be persuaded.
Yeah.
Wow. Really?
I mean, I could go in disguised as you, but that would depend on if they saw through it or not. So I could just... And then I wouldn't have half my weapons with me, but that's not too big an issue.
It's the issue of being stuck between a rock and a hard place, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No matter what we do, there's going to be some form of casualty. And there's always there's a huge amount of risk whatever we do.
Is there a
biggest issue is those cannons.
Yeah, I think we need to. I think we need to drop down and take out the cannons as swiftly and quietly as possible. If we can do that without alerting the rest, that will give us at least a few moments to think. Also,
how many cannons did you say there were exactly?
About 12, I think.
You can see on the map. These ones here are the circular
1 sec.
cannons.
Oh, the circular ones are the cannons.
Yep. The bottom right here.
Oh yeah, it's 9.
Them.
And then on this one here.
And
so
how
3 and 6.
How big squares are we talking for these? Like, is that just like 5 feet, like 15 feet across? Or are we talking like a more significant difference?
We're talking. It's big. I copy this scene. And then take you to that scene. And then we copy this. And then we paste it in here. that big.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's like
That's pretty big.
120 foot across.
The
None of
cannons
us-
themselves are more like 15 foot by 15 foot.
Yeah.
The other circle around them are platforms to be able to stand on and turn it and aim it.
Okay.
They are big ass cannons.
Ooh.
You know, Helen, you could get 4 of these in one attack with Circle of Death at the right point.
Uh-huh.
I
The
would just
Circle of
leave-
Death isn't my strong suit, apparently.
True. Because that's a 60-foot radius, which means it's 120 foot across. Which will cover one cannon to the other. I don't think we got anything else that has as big a impact zone. I mean, if we were to drop down as a group and all swiftly take out one cannon group, I don't know how many would be manning each cannon if it's just one person or multiple. That would then give us some freedom.
We've got the spyglass, right? Can we see how many people are patrolling?
If you're in spyglass range, they will also be in spyglass range. So you run the risk of them spotting you just as easily. And you do. There are definitely lookouts. This is a prison island meant to be a lookout. It's got a massive lighthouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can still get that information. You're better off just waiting for Llyvelin to cast Scry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the idea was we were going to keep our airship above the clouds and then
Wait,
drop in.
I just remembered the perfect way to deal with Huxor, at least in terms of killing him.
Take his hooks off him?
Invisible Stalker.
Who has that?
You, it's Contra Elemental. It's the CR6 Contra Elemental. It's an Invisible Stalker. And if I remember correctly, with Invisible Stalker, apart from being invisible, you give it a quarry, and it knows the direction and distance to its quarry.
Would I have to cast that at level 6?
Yes.
Good, because but that would take my Circle of Death away from us. If that's what you were.
No,
It's
but
it's one or the other.
Yeah. If you could cast that and use telepathic bond on it, along with the party, or at least yourself and Andy, that would Andy could then follow it by telling her where to go and allow her to get to Huxor as well. In fact, if Andy was invisible, it could probably carry her there.
That's true. Can elementals carry people?
Most of them have like a whelming ability. I don't think the Invisible Stalker does, but I don't see why it wouldn't be able to.
Would that not
Wouldn't
hurt?
be a very solid grip. It'd be more like getting blown around continuously.
Yeah.
In order to like contain them, it'd have to be like a tornado, which definitely gives a little bit away. But
it's not a bad shout. That
it's
it'd be able to...
Or if
and
we
you can fly
sent
already though, to be honest.
Yeah, or if we sent in the invisible stalker with something like Tacklo, I would then have vision on it. It's a shame I'm not the one with Dimension Door, because that would be helpful in this case, because then I could just teleport me and one other person straight there once the invisible stalker's found them.
Right. We're above the clouds right now, above this prison planning. So let's do the scry, see what information that gets us, because maybe that'll give us a more solid choice as to which way to go with it.
Sure.
Well, I'm going to try and do the scry on the hook saw.
Okay.
Target I've heard of. You've met target. We spent prison time together. Would I know the target well?
Just scry.
Yeah.
First hand. You've met the target. Familiar. Not really. You escaped prison together, sure, but
Prison break.
it's more like you
bring people together.
like...
No.
Does...
I get it.
Probably just first hand.
Yeah, you've met the target.
Does...
It'd be a 0. But...
Does either Datan or Patience, who I think have also met them, able to...
Datan knows them better, but yeah.
Do you have anything of Huxor's?
Or be able to generate an image of Huxor?
Well, that wouldn't really do much. I've already met the guy. I know what he looks like.
Yeah, but connection, likeness, or picture also affects the modifier. You have a likeness or picture of them.
Oh.
I can use the Hat of Disguise and turn myself into him.
Yeah?
Yeah, that would
work. Definitely help. Okay. So you get -2 modifier.
Yeah.
As you concentrate on the likeliness, staring right at a 10, you seek out your target, kind of hone in on their location wherever they may be. You have to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh boy. That's not good.
Yep.
That was -2 would be 19.
Oh yes, a 19.
Which still beats your save, doesn't it?
Just by 1. Does anyone have anything of theirs? No?
So it's a bit late for that. So Huxor is clearly much more slippery minded than you had thought, and it's really hard to find him within this prison. Maybe there's even some effect in the prison that seems to be almost like repelling you. After all, this was made to contain spellcasters, mages. There's no doubt they used probably a strong, thick enough lead to prevent most sort of spells from breaching the doors, but it's definitely not an anti-magic zone. You can sense there are many figures there, but it seems like Huxor's got a more powerful will that's able to repel you.
Probably because there's so many people all in the vicinity, it's hard to lock in on him.
Have you got another spell slot?
What for?
Scrying.
Oh, oh shit. Spell slot, yeah.
Do you have another spell slot at that level, of 5th level?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so you could cast it on another person.
Do we want to though? I think.
Do you not want to?
Because I don't know who would do it on. Who would be his second in command? I don't remember who his second in command would be.
Would I know the answer to that?
Not really, since you've.
Well, if
not
I've been trying to
inside,
liaise with him, who
you've
would have
been
been the
sending messages
contact?
directly.
Hmm.
Definitely, yeah, he would have sent messages, but not with himself. I guess if you cast your mind back, though, you do remember very many people who you fought along getting out, like, for example, the Drow. And there was this poor old soul as well. If you look in the top left, there was this guy who was just a prisoner who got beat up. You know, he's not a fighter or anything. He's just simply a guy. You remember him? Probably you can't remember his unless you can remember his name, which I can't.
Dave.
Or there's several guardsmen, but you probably wouldn't
Hang
get
on.
as much
Let me get the
information.
notebooks. Hang on.
Oh man!
Oh, but no.
Wow.
So, yeah, do keep in mind that the more spell slots I use, the less I have for stopping cannons. I was hoping this would be a one and done, and I momentarily forgot that scrying wasn't a.
Wasn't a you cut out?
It wasn't a
Wasn't a
ritual.
ritual.
Yeah, I momentarily forgot. Because I was thinking of telepathic bond, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's the ritual, not the scrying.
All right. Hang on. Let me have a look here. I have our original escape plans.
Does it include rocks in sock?
No. There is one that says Elravan forms pirate crew? Question mark. Another one says
Alright.
pray for help.
Oh yeah, I was recruiting people and it wasn't I. That's how I forgot that was a thing.
You remember Bert, but he was the one who was sent to get you out.
Yeah,
He's the one who helped you
Roberto
escape.
gave us the thieves' tools.
Yeah, Roberto.
He was part of the smugglers consortium.
Roberto was the one that first told us about the city being shattered.
Wow, yeah, it might have been.
He was. And Llyvelin drowned himself in alcohol for that evening.
Llyvelin got in trouble with the dead guppies.
The dead copy. Ah, there's so many memories.
I doubt you'll remember the name of this guy, but you do remember him. It's likely he hasn't got a stronger will as the captain, i.e. the bandit leader.
I have him listed as the kid.
The kid?
Unfortunately, I did not get his name.
Alright.
The kid.
A
So Billy.
little bit older
Billy.
than the kid. But might be,
Then after
might
that,
be
it
his
goes
name.
into the
Right.
happened in week.
So we have no idea of the second in command because we didn't take anyone's name but Hooksaw.
Bless you.
However, we
Pretty
did meet them, whether we know their name or not.
Mhm.
So would we know if, and in quotations, the kid is second in command, or if the drow was in second in command?
No idea.
Nah, that's what I'm asking everyone else.
I don't know, I wasn't there, technically.
And by everyone else, I mean Dan.
Remember a
What do you-
Dragonborn?
What do you think, Kesh'an?
I think you should just cast the spell, and then we take a long rest. And then you can do it all tomorrow if it doesn't work. If it doesn't work.
It's really not a bad idea.
Sure. That's.
Gets rid of my intuition.
The kid or the drow? Which one? Which one are you thinking? I mean, to be fair, I could do both if we're gonna have a long rest and do it tomorrow.
Why, you mean upcast it? Use your 6th slot?
Yeah, but then I'd definitely have to wait till tomorrow.
Considering the state of the child the last time we saw him, he might be a little bit easier.
Okay.
Not a child.
We're gonna scry on.
That's a grown-ass man. Look at him.
On Billy the Kid. He's called Billy now.
So I'll roll a wisdom save. That's right. You rolled a nat 20. Holy crap.
What's your DC, Llyvelin? Your DC's 18, isn't it?
18, yeah.
Same with the -2, he goddamn makes it.
It's times like these that I really miss the robes.
All the more reason to go to the tower, I guess. Yep.
Oh.
The kid is such a forgettable character. You can hardly remember them. You're not even sure if they were called the kid. And you're not even sure if he was a kid. Now that you're thinking about it, you're pretty sure he was a grown adult. But it was so hard to recognize him since his face was all swollen from black eyes. He's bleeding from the forehead. His hair was so ragged and unkempt. Face was so dirty from grime in this place.
My biggest problem.
When Titan tries to use the hat disguise, it ends up being kind of like this just poor, sorry excuse for a man-looking prisoner. And you're not sure if the likeliness is helping.
My biggest problem is I'm still imagining the bruised, bulbous face, but it's like a man's face on a child's body.
Oh, weird.
And it just doesn't look right. And I can't.
The weave is shrugging, what do you want me to do with this?
I mean...
Yeah.
You want me to upcast the drow, but then we have to wait a whole day so they could be anywhere at that point.
I
could have changed the whole location.
What I could
change the whole location. They're on an island in a fortress.
No. I mean, if we're trying to find where Huxor is and we spy on the drow and the drow is with Huxor, by the time a whole day goes by, they might not even be in the same room. They might be on a whole different level of the...
Do you want to go in there with Eirina having a level of exhaustion?
No, probably not, no.
Then cast a spell, take a long rest.
Go yeah, sure. Do it on the drow.
Whilst that's happening, as an additional thing, would someone be able to cast invisibility on Taklo?
I mean, if we're using spell slots here and having a rest, sure.
Because I could then send Taklo to do some scouting to...
Oh, no. Drying his concentration.
Yep.
Okay.
Andy?
Someone else if they have invisibility.
Yes?
Would you be able to cast invisibility on Taklo for me, please? And I can send them in to do some visual scouting.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll definitely be more than 100 feet away, but you'll just have to hope Taklo comes back.
Yeah. But if they don't, I'd sense them pop, and then I just re-summon them. On the ship.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, do you want to use your violin one, yeah?
Well, yes, I've only got it on the violin.
Well, no, you've got greater invisibility as well.
Now, regular invisibility is probably what we need for the time.
Greater, just remember, greater only lasts a minute. Invisibility, the normal one lasts an hour. The greater part comes in that it doesn't break when you're attacking. So one's a combat spell, the other is an out of combat spell.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, invisibility works. Taklo goes invisible and they just zip off And then,
Yep.
is there any specific orders you want them to follow?
The basic thing I'm trying to get is if they can find where Hooksor is, great. But the main thing they're looking for is where the imprisoned guards are mostly like focused. Like, are they split out all over the place? Are they on a particular floor? You know,
Sure.
that sort of thing.
Got it. Okay. Give me a stealth check with Tackler. Whilst I give you a wisdom save with the drow, who fails. Looks like you're going to get a good look after all.
Oh, not a great stealth check for Tack, though.
No, it is not. Interesting. Tackler. Oh boy. No, that
Just
is
seeing
not
if they've
good.
got anything. No, they've got keen senses.
Yeah.
They don't have like advantage on stealth. I mean,
Hmm.
technically they're harder to see, but they could be heard. But they would just be like the beating of wings, I guess,
Yep, precisely.
or the slither of scales, which could be
Okay.
the
Good bird.
alligator.
Be a bird.
It depends where you're flying in with them. Through
I'll
the
just have them.
sewers
I'll
or through
have.
the top?
I'll have them. I think I'll just have them flying through the top hole and just basically go down floor to floor.
Okay. So, first things first. The scrying works on the drow. You see a white-haired, dark-skinned elf with studded leathers. They seem to be laden with different daggers and blades and short swords at their side. And they seem to be doing a patrol at the moment. They themselves have keen eyes, since they are an elf. They seem to be on the Overseer's summit, patrolling back and forth from the cannons, and checking the lighthouse as well. As you're looking around, you see there are a lot of men that are manning the cannons. At least like a full crew for each one, which consists of two like bandits that seem to be loading. One aims, and then the last one seems to fire, lighting the fuse. So, and also delegating what's going on. And they look like the thug. So we have a full crew for each of these. Now, this lasts 10 minutes. So you're able to kind of follow them around. For the most part, they stay up here, kind of patrolling, making sure everything's in order. And they seem to be surveying the bay continuously, as well as checking back on the surrounding island as well, to make sure no like rowboats are sneaking up on them. As they're doing this patrol, though, Taklo seems to zip through, and you see the drow's ears kind of twitch. They suddenly look behind them, as if they heard something zip past, and they rush over towards the railing and look down. They're looking left, looking right. They're certain they just heard something like fly in. So at which point they will head down to the bottom left set of stairs, I believe, which takes them to a different map, which would be this one. Yes, I think so. How does one get up there? This part slipped my mind. I'm certain it's just a staircase that just goes up. Either way, it should be down here somewhere. It's a lot longer for him to get down and around, so he has to go like the full length around before he can get to the set of stairs in the top right. But so it breaks line of sight effectively, but you know that they know that they heard something.
Yep.
So whilst he's going down, I'll take you to the officers' quarters. Now this is where you would expect to see the guards. So this is where the assassin would be entering. Tackler would just be flying down in the center. Where is he? There he is. So Tackler would end up kind of stretching out their wings, stopping the descent. But as they look around, you see this place has been entirely commandeered with prisoners, pirates, and all kinds of thugs and bandits occupy this area. It is crawling with them. Since they have the more secure area, this makes sense because you can oversee all the other prisoners from down below. There's sections for bedding, and you can see already there's many prisoners just lounging around like they own the place. You see there are private quarters for like the warden. Over in the top left over here, there's a large fire pit, and you see a big congregation of them seem to be gathered around that area. Like this is a hot spot for many of them. They've pulled up like chairs, crates, and they're just sort of lounging around. There's even a bar back here, and it looks like they've completely raided that. There's pirates galore, basically swigging from kegs, ones that look like they've been refilled from cargo that they've commandeered even. Give me a perception check with Tackler with advantage.
Yep, they do have that advantage.
But okay, you notice first of all there is actually a spare cannon down here, a couple of them in fact. One's down here.
That one looks like
on the
here,
top right,
possibly.
Yep, and there's a storage room as well for other bits. It's not the munitions room, but it is certainly an overflow area where there's additional cannons which they can use. They can wheel up onto the redoubt. So it's probably where repairs and maintenance is done. However, what you're mainly looking for is what's his name? Uxor. Yeah. There are so many pirates down here, it's hard to tell which one is which. They're just as scarred and as brutish as the next. However, you do find the warden's office, which I will say is effectively this room right here.
Okay.
And there is several guards outside of it. They look to be perhaps former captains themselves, but they've been obviously imprisoned here. They seem to be having a conversation with Hooksor right as of right now. There's no guard in here, but there are guards outside. There is a red dragonborn, and he does seem to have the equivalent of a spellcasting focus in one hand. It looks like a compass of some sort that they're like spinning around in their hand.
God, he's a star druid.
And
Or My mind immediately goes.
Perhaps. I was going to say they're spinning it around in a mage hand, though. You can see.
Okay.
This guy is clearly a spellcaster. And as you're approaching and kind of trying to get around these tight corners and flapping your wings, they hear something and they turn and hear it and notice it. What would Taklo do? As
At that
you see them
point,
grab their compass and grip it suddenly.
That point, let's think. At that point, they would probably maybe just try to stop moving and hide in the room, like, oh, maybe it was just the wind sort of thing. After all, I'm invisible.
Boy.
And there's a cannon here. Maybe they'll hide in the cannon. And quite small.
Okay. Sure. Let me just... There we go. That's the other captain I wanted. Cool. Alright. So you flap away, try to hide inside the cannon. The Dragonborn spellcaster... It's kind of a little bit dingy and dark down here. So he's obviously going to cast a light so that he can sort of get a better image of what's going on in here.
Yep.
And what else does he do? Ah, yes. Yes, that's the thing.
I hope he doesn't have the spell I think he might have.
Yep,
oh no, that's not the one I was thinking could have, but that's...
That's just as bad?
Yeah. I mean, he'd detect illusion magic, I guess.
Taklo definitely
and conjuration magic.
Spell. I mean, you've seen it cast 1,000 times. You've cast it a couple of times.
As he begins casting it, would Taklo recognize him beginning to cast that spell? I can't remember if detect magic in the middle of combat is an action or not. I know you can ritual cast it.
Yeah,
so he wouldn't have much time to react. I was thinking.
Yeah, right. You could use a reaction.
What do I have, sir?
Give me an intelligence check.
Yep. Come on, Taklo. Be smart.
Yeah, they recognize the verbal components.
Would they be able to move?
Cast?
Would they be able to move out of the area of it because they'd know the sort of range? Like before it has a chance to fully finish casting, because
there's something to determine whether who goes first or not. I forget what that's called.
Ooh,
initiative.
Let's call it like initiative or something for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taklo, roll me like a dex check. I guess that could be a good basis on whether they go first or not. Nice. Okay. There we go.
Yeah.
We are relearning D&D. Mage does cast this as it's mainly because they're casting light first.
Yeah.
And then detect magic afterwards. They're clearly trying to go into search mode. And you have that one split reaction to hear detect magic being cast. They're about to then move towards you. You can hear the stride of their boots across the floorboards. What does Taklo want to do?
In which case,
first?
with their light speed, just get out of the area. Just like, nope.
Yeah, you.
And then, to be honest,
dash to get out of there.
I mean, they have a 60-foot flight speed, so that gets them to there.
Okay.
So then I am going to have them use their action to dash to basically get down to the next floor on like the other side of like the building.
Okay.
So like I'd be more
flying,
like a
as they're flying down, you see the drow has reached the steps, and they're at the balcony, and they're looking around left, right, in the chaos. There's a slim chance they get to spot you, seeing as you're invisible, but give me a new stealth check.
You're not terrible. Damn it, that's worse.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
I wish.
Okay. Oh my god, you're all lucked out there. You're absolutely lucked out there. Okay, there's so much chaos going on with how many people are reveling in their drunken freedom right now. There's also a couple of fights going on, just normal like prisoner sparring, just to test one's mettle. And it's hard to distinguish what's like a real fight and a real threat from what's just petty rambling. And there's clearly a casting of a spell in the corner as well, that he seems to be more distracted by, and as he goes over you can hear them say, and both Llyvelin and Taklo are hearing this, like, did you spot something? And the other one's like, yes, I thought I heard something like flapping wings. And the other one says, as did I. The search then could be a scout or something. He begins kind of like looking around. Okay. Taklo does make it to the next floor and has clearly lost their chase. Now, next floor is gonna be what? The detention block, right? Yep, detention block. Okay. So Taklo's down here now.
Yeah.
This is the majority of the prison cells. This map doesn't even show them all. It just shows the ones that you could have explored in game. Anyway, the point being, these are dozens and dozens and dozens of cells. Several of these sections are also locked off by gates. So I'll draw them on. They're like here, 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 and here. And there are levers for these gates on the other side. As well, you can probably use these tools to open them up. But they're in lockdown mode at the moment. Yeah. These are there to prevent these riots getting out of control. So, at the moment, you see the solemn and defeated expressions on many guardsmen that are down here, held within the cells that they once guarded themselves. Loads of them.
Which of them looks the most like, obviously quite despondent, but does any of them look like a higher ranking prison guard sort of person?
Yes, those would be the veterans. And you remember these guys. They were the biggest challenge for you guys to overcome. The veterans have been stripped of their armor and weapons, but you can see several of them in sections of these prisons. Yeah, there are ones that look more in charge.
Okay, and are there currently any of the actual pirates guarding these guards on this floor? Are they all on the floor above?
Yep. No, absolutely. There is many a thug guarding and patrolling.
Okay.
As well as this fella with a big old chain and ball. They seem to be patrolling back and forth. They have another guard on the other side operating the doors, such to let them through when needed. Yeah. So
I'm gonna roll a check for Taklo just as me to decide if he would think of this. Yeah, that's enough. Okay. So
there's an armory and there's an armory and there's a sparring ring as well. Looks like this area.
Yeah.
And there's several pirates like swashbuckling and sparring up there as well.
Okay, so this is going to be a weird one. Taklo is going to use their limited telepathy to speak to this guard here into their head. I can obviously only communicate simple ideas, emotions, and images. But so
Is that with your spell, or that's just a pseudo dragon feature, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay, got it. Cool.
So I can do it from 100 foot away, which is great.
Okay, perfect.
So basically, I'm going to communicate into his head the image of Datan, because that seems like someone they would recognize, and the emotion of freedom and jailbreak, and the concept of tomorrow, and get ready. But touch
Tomorrow.
keep secret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hush, hush. It's a secret. Okay, got
Yeah. Yeah. Very basic. You know.
Now, the one thing to note as you're looking around here is that traditionally there are more prisoners than there are guards.
Yeah.
Now that has been reversed, and
More guards
the place
than there
is
are
still
prisoners.
crawling. Yeah, there are more guards than prisoners, exactly. Which means even if they did get out, right, you broke them out, the numbers game still means that they would probably lose overall. Even if you got in and opened up the cages, unlike a jailbreak situation, they would be outnumbered. But you guys are the difference makers here. You would turn the tide in that thing. But just bear that in mind, that getting these out, whilst they are a big help and would cause massive ruckus and distraction, ultimately they alone wouldn't be enough to win back the prison.
Yeah,
All right.
but it's
And
probably necessary.
So
yeah, oh no, it's a great idea.
So now that you've given them hope, we just don't do the prison break.
Rude, very rude. Did you want to go down the next level?
Yeah, let's go down one more level.
Okay. Same situation as before. This is
another prison
so
level.
many cells in this place. Yeah, it's insane how many there are. This one has a little bridge in the center. It's like a grated bridge. Just below that, you can see the sewers. But very similar situation here. Another floor of dozens and dozens of guards. Prisoners have escaped it. Yeah. It's even more down here, it looks like.
We did this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you did.
We did.
Yeah. Place is crawling with thugs, bandits, prisoners, pirates, you name it.
Okay.
And they're all well armed. Crossbows, clubs, etc.
Yeah, and then the only floor below this is like the drainage level, isn't it?
Yes.
So, at that point, would Llyvelin have informed Karius, because I don't know, that Taklo seems to have been spotted? Because you're obviously scrying, so you know what the drow on that is saying.
Yeah, I probably would.
In which case, after... because they don't seem to have caught them immediately, after maybe 5 more minutes. So I would just dismiss Taklo and resummon them back on the ship.
Okay. Then after the so yeah, you're still scrying. The only thing you see is them sort of report to Hooksor, and they're like, sorry to interrupt, Hooksor, but
where's this though?
must be in the quarters. So I said, like, the
Yeah, so
The
it's
guards'
in.
quarters. Oh, officers' quarters.
Yeah, it's this little room here.
Oh, he was in that room.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Didn't
Yep.
think.
it's like the warden's office.
He says, but it might have been a scout or something. We're on the lookout for it, but a scout, in my experience, usually precipitates an attack of some sort. And Hooksaw kind of rises from his table and says, Are you sure? After all, could have just been a bat. Might be wasting my time. Well, we didn't see it. We tried to cast Detect Magic, but thing was fast. Zipped around past my gaze. If it was a bat, I doubt it'd want to nest in here, full of the scum and villainy of all of Midra. No offense, of course. Tell the guards to be on the ready. Be on the lookout for anything. That goes for air and sea. Don't forget this Monty Pod has his own fair share of tricks up his sleeve. Aye, sir. And yeah, they seem to take a bow and head back. And you see him turn back to the other captains, and they're like, "Is this going to be a problem then? Or should we jump ship?" And he says, "No. I will send a message to Detan, warning them of snooping around. And if the next time I catch even the whiff of some kind of scout, then I'll put a cannonball through their estate." And yeah, that's the last thing you hear as the drow walks out of the room.
Well, guys, they're onto us now.
Mm-hmm.
Damn it, Tacklo.
Damn it.
Full invisibility
They would
would
have
be.
noticed at some point sooner or later. People don't just magically appear out of thin air.
Though.
And you may be expecting a message soon, Detan, saying that they'll threaten to cannonball your estate.
That does not surprise me. And then Eirina's going to step in and she's going to pull a scroll out of her one of her many jacket pockets. And she's going to hand that to Detan. I don't know who you would contact, but get the area cleared. Might, just in case the cannons do go off. And it's a scroll of sending.
Can the cannons shoot that far into the city? I thought they could only reach the port.
Yeah, that's what I thought, but you know.
It's probably one of the other captains is asking, like, "Oh, Hooksaw, I don't think they fire that far, but."
So
Get
Tan will.
Could get the
It's a
ports
threat
cleared.
still.
Yeah, could get the ports cleared, so no one would get harmed. Tell them to throw a parade in the center of town, and get everyone away from the ports because they're all going to the parade. I don't know. We had a festival in there at one point.
Yeah, the idea is to send a message to essentially clear the docks. So, with the current trust exercise that's going on between Detan and who he's left in charge.
Oh,
That's who he's going to sending to.
okay. The sending spell.
Yeah, let me click the
25 words.
25
that will
words
get
or
there.
fewer.
Well, that will get there way before their message.
What?
Your message will get there before theirs.
Sending's instant.
Yeah, that's the thing. I want them to get the docks cleared just in case. I want this done ahead of time.
That's what I just said. You'll get there ahead of time.
Yeah, that's the plan. It's the way you said it, like you thought I was gonna wait to do it.
No.
No. I want to send the message now.
I mean, I suppose it depends when we're planning to launch our actual assault. If we're planning to take a long rest, then it might be worth telling them to make sure the docks are clear in the morning, for example, and then that's when we make our assault.
Yeah, but this is the thing. In order for them to assemble as many people as possible, get down to the docks, start clearing the docks.
Yeah.
They've got cover of dark to try and get it emptied without being spotted.
Yeah.
If they do it in daylight, whoever's watching is going to be like, oh, there's something going on there. And with how suspicious they are already.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So the message to Townsend is, Patience and I on our way back, passing through the brig, might not go very well, clear the docks.
Okay. All right. You hear a message back. What would they call you? Captain of the guard?
He is captain, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you would hear the response. Yes, Captain, right away. We will clear the civilians and make sure there's no casualties if the blasting starts. Can't say the same for the ships, however. They'll be in direct line of fire. And if we start moving them out, they seem to shoot warning shots anyway. But you already know all of this.
Mm-hmm.
So they just have to leave the ships in the dock, but they'll clear it of people at least.
Yeah, clearing the
dock
people.
Workers. Yep.
The town looks slightly surprised, but pleasantly so, at the cooperation.
Yeah. I mean, what else do they... what else can they do? But I think Titan has earned some respect, even more so if he gets this done. There'll be no like doubts or questions left in anyone's mind. So a lot is riding on this.
So now, if the cannons do go off, it's not the worst thing, but we still would like to prevent that.
There's still an awful lot to have to potentially pay out and negotiate with those people whose boats are going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
It would sink Weep's economy.
But
more than it already is.
I suppose we could sell the gold from the cathedral.
Okay.
I mean,
and then religion, and then it's now a religious uprising instead.
I mean, to be fair, this is a pirate hideout at this point, and they probably send their own ships out to loot and plunder. If Weep's economy go under because of this, and we free this place, they probably have a lot hoarded here.
Well, it's not even just that. It's if this place is out of the way, then the economy gets better because the ships can come to port.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is,
taxed, which is what they've been doing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if those people do lose their ships and money and all sorts, they could probably be paid back from what's inside here.
We will figure something out.
Yeah,
as long as people don't.
Well, that's their money to begin with. The pirates have been using this as like a toll gate. So they don't want to stop business entirely, otherwise they wouldn't even get a cut. But they've been taxing the people coming in and taking the profits for themselves.
Yeah, so if it fix Weep on two fronts, its economy and its loss of earnings.
Alright.
I'm just saying it's giving back what they lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So now we have an idea of where the guards are. Taklo has let one of the actual prison guards who are now prisoners, given them a warning that this is about to happen so they can potentially get ready should we try to release them as part of the plan. Not saying that we will, but because the numbers are not on our side in terms of number of bad guys they have. But we know where Huxor is. Taklo only seemed to see one obvious person who was a spellcaster. A dragonborn with a compass. Possibly the drow, as they seemed like quite aware of things. Might have some magical knowledge. I think elven types tend to have some innate magical abilities. Based on what Llyvelin has said, it seems like some of the captains would be willing to jump ship and leave here if they were told to, or if things went enough badly against them. Taking out Huxor silently, without anyone noticing, seems
Not really possible because he seems to be surrounded by a lot of people.
Yeah,
If we take the cannons, we're likely to alert him.
Yeah,
Can Team Handy take out that many people and Huxor with an invisible stalker aiding them while we dealt with the cannons, or do we just go straight for the cannons?
It depends who we send on each squad. So if we assume you as the leader of cannon team, Andy as leader of infiltration team, that Eirina, you're probably more suited to the destroying of the cannons. Possibly? Or would you prefer to be on the infiltration team?
We'll go with the destruction of the cannon.
Yeah, Kesh'an would probably go with Andy because stealth options. If we really wanted to cause havoc and a split, like if we, whilst you're doing with the cannons, if Andy, Kesh'an, the Invisible Stalk could drop down through the middle onto that level, I could come up through the bottom and attack from there. And that would then potentially divide their forces further. It would divide us, but we're probably more than capable of handling a few of these pirates easily by ourselves.
Why do I feel like it's famous last words?
Yeah.
Well, at least this time I can't destroy an entire plane of existence.
Here's the thing.
Time.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
Still destroy this plane of existence.
Oh, yeah. We almost did that. The volcano. There's 2 layers of cannons. So I think it's gonna take more than just me and Eirina.
Yeah.
To deal with that. 2 of us are probably gonna have to be on the layer where there's 6 cannons, and 1 of us on the layer where there's 1. Where there's 3, sorry.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, I can.
And you can fly around, so.
Yeah, I could do the one with. Probably do the one with 3.
Make sure there's no one on the cannons.
Yeah, so if we send Andy with an invisible stalker and Kesh'an in, that should be enough to deal with Hooksaw and some of the people around them. I don't think there's anything we can do in order to give us any further edge. Yeah, that's probably our best means of action. If we go in, if we rest early and go in before sunrise, so we have the night on our side still, that might be our best bet. Might catch some of the guards sleeping.
Yeah. I'm gonna.
Well, that's the thing. Patience says we could scry again tomorrow and confirm whether they are.
Oh yeah, we have to
asleep or
tan.
not.
We have to tan in patience as well.
Yeah. Are you coming
Yeah,
in
we're
on
still
the
here.
infiltration and attacking of this place?
I think so. Yeah.
Well,
Where would you like
yes.
me to be?
So I wouldn't be able to make you two invisible, but once you hear the goings on, because you can do your thing where you pull out your wings, can't you? You could fly yourself and Titan in.
Titan just kind of squints at Llyvelin for a second.
What?
I know you've been gone for a little while, but I can make myself invisible still.
Can you also make Patience invisible?
I could,
Oh,
Okay.
but
thought you
she
could
wouldn't be
just-
able to obviously use her wings. She'd
Well,
have
she
to
could-
pop those first.
yeah. You have to pop those first. Ah, I didn't know you could cast. You could invisible yourself, and that's why I said that.
Her wings are
Nighttime, aren't they?
they're a racial feature.
Ah.
Oh no, I
Oh
can't.
wait, no.
I only
wait,
go
yeah,
up to
no, she
second
does have wings
level,
off
so I can only do it on myself.
No, you're right. She does have. Yeah, no, she does have a cloak, which gives her the flying speed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like I've with Star Patience use it so many times.
You do remember Tidal Wave gave you a potion of invisibility, or rather, she gave Andy all the potions she had.
That's true. Well, that's a good point. I didn't think to look what items I've got. Do I have any items that would be useful for this?
Don't. Already looked. I will be on a tuning
Yeah,
from the necklace of
Kirstie, on your
adaptation into the
Sure.
staff.
Sure, Kirstie, on your sheet you see there is many potions I've added, as well as Dust of Dryness. They are a thank you from Tidal Wave for practically saving her life several times and helping in the entire island. Got a potion of poison. You don't want to drink that one though. That's actually a poison to kill someone.
Poison
Potion of heroism, potion of invisibility, dust of dryness, and a potion of mind reading. So yeah, it's a whole bunch of goodies there that they just handed you as a thanks.
My brain just sees the potion of heroism, and I think of that love potion that Ron Weasley ends up drinking.
It's a little blue potion that bubbles and steams as if boiling.
I don't know why that one comes to mind, but yeah. Okay. I mean, if there was any place to use potion of invisibility, this probably would be the right place to use it.
Yeah, get in position. And it doesn't require concentration, anything, so...
It lasts an hour, so it's basically like the invisibility spell, okay.
But without concentration.
Without, yeah.
I don't remember what patience is capable of.
She can disintegrate someone, she can...
She's
I think you actually
pretty
have
powerful.
her character sheet.
She's just a little fiery redhead.
She's a level 12 sorcerer.
Remember, she can
Fine
twin it.
sorcerer.
She twin
God,
disintegrated enemies.
You should have... Oh no, Cam has ownership.
I'm just going to give everyone ownership.
Okay, let's have a look.
Now you can see.
Okay. Oh, they got teleportation. Oh, they got a holy weapon. Ooh, flame strike. Flame strike, if only it had a bigger radius, like, because the 10-foot radius cylinder is kind of boring. Spirit Guardians, that could be cause some shredding. They do not.
Yeah, for sure.
That's
the state they were left in, so I'm just going to leave them as that. But Death Ward could be fun as well. Could use all their 4 slots on Death Ward on some people.
And then they also have that healing star.
Counter spell.
Yeah, twin spells. Quicken spells.
Make sure you take a long rest though, everyone, and get rid of any exhaustion you have left.
Yeah, I need to look at my spells quickly and see if there's anything that would be more useful. I could cast Bless, doesn't last long enough, but that's probably not much use. I might keep Bane on, but
Alright. So, just so I'm on the same page, your plan is to split up. One team is going to deal with the cannons, another is going to go in through the bottom and attempt to stop the guards being taken hostage or executed as a, as a way of deterring.
Yeah, that's probably our. Because as much as dealing with Hooksaw would be great, I don't think we can get to him without alerting the others. So at that point, we might as well do a 2-pronged attack.
That depends on the scry the next day, which would be
down,
I guess. Unless you don't want to bother wasting a scry and trying to save it. But you could absolutely use a scry and see if they fail and see if they're alone at night or in the morning, kind of thing.
Is that what we want to do? Or do we think that that's where we're at right now? We should save the hostages, attack the cannons.
That depends on your scry.
No, that's what I'm saying. Do we want to do we want to just go? Let's leave Hooksaw and just go for the cannons and the hostages.
That depends on your scry.
But no, it depends on the rest of the party deciding.
Because we might just decide to forsake the scry because regardless of what we do,
and save the spell slot,
or just dealing with the situation. Because unfortunately, scry uses quite a high level spell slot. Shame we don't have something like anything lower level or clairvoyance would be useful.
So what do you two think? Do you want me to scry, or do you think we just go hostages and cannonballs and cannons?
Jeez.
And then if Hooksaw comes to us, Hooksaw comes to us. But if not, if you want me to scry, I can do it.
How badly do you want to keep the spell slot?
Well, it's a 5th level spell slot. Let's put it that way.
That doesn't help me. I'm not a spellcaster.
It's my second.
Okay.
Well, my 3rd highest spell slot.
Okay.
And I have 2 of them, and that's it.
It's just a risk, but
It is a risk.
it's not a bad risk though, because the potential payoff is that if you find them alone, and if Andy gets in there with an invisible stalker, perhaps even with the tan, right? If you get a strike team, enough to kill them, but also not be detected. That's the thing, actually. I guess patients, do they have silence? No, they don't. Silence would be great. That would work a fucking treat.
No one has silence.
Yes, you do.
Do it?
Karius can get silence. Yep.
Can I?
You're a 3rd level cleric.
No, I'm a second level cleric.
Rip. Never mind. Okay,
I-
Llyvelin, do you have silence? Of
No.
course you don't. Silence doesn't do damage. So, uh,
I have plenty of non-damaging spells.
sure.
Suggestion, invisibility, mirror image, gentle repose, arcane lock.
Sure.
Just not
I
silence.
have
try to-
silent image, but that's it.
Sure. Okay. Well, then you would need to somehow bring them down pretty quick without them getting to alert the guards. And if they did, then they would show up, ask questions about that. Hopefully, at that point, you've either one, hid the body, assumed the identity, and such. So, it's a whole bunch of risks involved in that. But if it's something that you want to do, Kirstie, you want to use your get to use your abilities as a Whispers Bard. That would be contingent on the scry spell. So, do you wish to do that? Is that something you want to do?
I mean, it's more in the case of if that's what's going to work best for the entire party in terms of the plan.
If
To me, using that is probably going to work best because she can actually know stuff.
And you can tell everyone to all calm themselves
Yeah.
and
Yeah, of course, just bearing in mind that it will only hold for so long. So the moment it starts, we need to act.
yeah,
Do you mean your disguise?
Yeah,
It lasts for an
for an hour.
hour.
yeah.
So once
But-
that starts, we're on a ticking, like a clock.
I mean,
Interesting.
as Huxar, you could say that you've struck a deal with Datan and you're looking to send all the prisoners back in exchange for high price that they'll be sending their way, or something around those lines.
I'm kind of thinking this is Andy's way of thinking as well. Of course, when Takla was scouting around, seeing all those people just kind of like in that one room that they've obviously used, it probably to her it looks like a slum. It sounds like a slum. That's no way of living. And to be quite frank, they could even if they have done bad things, this still isn't right.
You're technically a criminal.
Yeah. And surely, of course, food's running low, resources are running low, because, of course, there's so many people in the building.
There's
and
no toilet paper.
There's no toilet paper. There's no bread rolls. So to her, more striking a deal and almost seeing if, it's almost like, okay, you guys, you have done something wrong, but there's another way to resolve this, rather than basically living in filth like rats. That's the way she would want to play it.
Yeah. Ground.
Especially
Wow.
with those ones that
Yeah.
say, "Oh, is it time to jump ship?"
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
What-
aren't you tired of being hungry? Aren't you tired that you haven't
Right.
got more beds? That you got this? We can work out something with the captain of Weep. He's willing to help us rather than fight against us.
Got it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
that would be her way of viewing it.
So the least
And of course,
bloodshed
if she
possible.
was dressed as what's his face,
Hooksaw.
Hooksaw,
Him.
corkscrew leg or whatever, then hopefully she'd have a better advantage of being
Chance.
able to inspire them. So
Got it. Okay.
Well,
So
whilst you have
I
your
was just gonna
disguise, sorry.
well, let me just quickly. So even if you don't scry to find them, there's still a potential you can pull this off just by being invisible and sneaking around till you find him and then do the attack. Then the scry is really purely just so that you find the moment in which they sleep, right? That's all you're trying to figure out. And you can do that, by the way, over the course of days, even weeks, until you figure out their schedule and when they sleep and where they sleep. This doesn't have to be a thing that is done straight away tomorrow. You can be more precise about it. But just so you know, even if you don't scry, there's still some chance that you can pull that off. So, all right, that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, so I was thinking if we want to get rid of Booksaw silently and then we want to replace them, which is currently the plan, probably it's worthwhile sending Patience on that team because they could just disintegrate the body. And then someone could then recast invisibility on them.
The only thing, if we were to go that route, and we managed to convince them, but then Hooksaw disappears, or someone finds his real body, that's the only problem. Because that could then incite fighting.
True.
But an hour is a long enough time to say that.
Yes, but like if he then disappeared after that hour, suddenly their leader has gone.
Yep.
Unless we make the argument that no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say like he's exchanging himself in exchange for parole if those guys leave or something, but that wouldn't work. The table's too weighted heavily on their side.
So exchange
We'll come to that bridge when we cross it.
So it could be exchanging prisoners.
You want to use that hour. So you just want to say you want to use that hour basically to, whilst they are convinced, to disarm them of the cannons, to put yourself in a position where it then can't revert back to square one. But all right, go ahead, James.
Yeah, like I said, that, but also, it could be like you're looking as a means of gaining rations on this island by exchanging the prisoners.
Not even rations. I think what Kirstie was trying to put forward was that it'd be better to convince them to jump ship and go somewhere else, like maybe even commandeer the next vessel and then all hop aboard that and sail away, because living in this place is filth. There's no way to live, sort of thing. So,
and then Andy just, as Hooksaw, just like as a show of faith of this is what we're doing, jumps on a ship and goes with a load of people until the hour's up, and then I don't know, flies away. Bye guys, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, at which point anyone who could try to report what happened is already too far away to get back and stop it. Yeah, potentially. All right, so a couple of ideas there, but that's all contingent on whether we can find Hooksaw. And that's contingent on whether you wish to cast the Scry spell to better locate them.
Yeah,
and
I think,
like I said, if you're worried about a spell slot, Patience will just say, well, we don't need to go in and attack right now. We're not on any like extreme time crunch. Though we certainly can't send a scout in again. Otherwise, that'll be bad for Detan. So, but you can still scry on them repeatedly over the course of days until you figure out when and where they sleep.
Okay. If we're willing to spend days here, then that's something we can do. But I was thinking of saving the spell slot if we were just ready for the attack.
No. If we can get him by himself, we can get enough people there without being spotted to basically take him out and replace him.
Alright, so
it also might give them time to cool off, since they might be on high alert right now.
Yeah.
Giving it a couple of days might be a good thing after all.
And deprive that guard that you took of hope as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Tackler's just like,
Okay.
I've fall on my feet, or my wings. Leave me alone.
So when it gets late enough that you would think someone would consider going to
Good
sleep.
sleep. You're gonna cast Scry.
Yeah.
Okay. Do
And
another wisdom save for him.
did Tacklo grab a lock of hair of anything, or?
No, they wouldn't have had a chance to go into that room.
There we go.
I have rolled a fail. When you would typically expect them to go to sleep is not when they are sleeping. You can see Hooksaw is reveling amongst the rest of the crew. He seems to command a great deal of respect and presence. The men will follow him till death, it seems. They are currently in the brig. Is it the brig? No, officers' quarters. Basically chilling out by the bar, drinking a few drinks, but also not too much because he seems like he wants to keep on guard still. He says, yeah, in fact, he's like, that's where you get this impression that everyone follows his order strictly. And that is, he's calling out, all right, no more than 2 drinks, everyone, tonight. I need you all thinking clearly. There could be an attack imminent. Everyone's like, what? Only 2? That's nothing. We usually get through a whole keg. And they're like, that's the order. Unless you want to be chained up down there with the crocodiles. Everyone's like, ooh. So they seem to definitely respect their leader's word. Which is still better than most guards.
Yeah.
They'd be like, no drinking allowed.
Here's the
He's
thing.
saying, like, you can have 2. But you got to be under the limit, basically.
Here's the thing as well. We use this sending scroll to clear out the port. Could
That's true. You can send another sending. You can do another sending spell. Do another sending spell.
Who can do that?
Patience. She has sending.
Patient. Oh, she has sending. Okay, yeah, okay, right. I was thinking, oh shit, we used up the sending scroll. Okay.
Nope. Did you have it? Wait, you used that as a scroll?
Yeah, Eirina had a scroll.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot. Patience would have volunteered to send the message for them.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't
Can I have the
cost her
scroll back
anything.
then?
Yes, you can. Sorry, yeah, I thought someone was casting it, not as a scroll. My bad. Anyway, yeah, you can keep the scroll. Patience will do the message for you and relay it.
Cool, because she knows who was left in charge as well, so that's all good.
All right.
She's probably not as
She'll
polite.
Okay. In fact, she could even send a message to the guards down there as well, relaying that, hey, we're actually going to take longer than a day. Sorry, it might be a little bit longer. We're just really figuring out the best time to attack. Besides that, our scout got spotted, so we're letting things cool off, letting them not be so alert. Yeah, we're not attacking when they're so alert, right? So give it a few more days. You can hold on. Okay, thanks, bye. Anyway, so
just thought
she'll
another
send this. Yeah.
There's another thing Patience could do.
Mm-hmm.
They could literally ask their god when Hooksaw typically sleeps, using commune.
Commune.
Alright.
Asking a god just such a simple question is kind of funny. Okay,
How much
do you know
health?
this person's sleep schedule?
Yeah.
Thanks.
How much health does Tacklo have?
Tacklo has 7.
Do you think these guys do more than 7 health in the off chance?
Why?
Because you know that they were worried about, like, or was it bats or was it a scout?
You
Could
think send
Tacklo in a polymorph as a bat?
I mean,
Send him in. There's a
I mean,
bat.
I could just re-summon Taklo as a bat.
What?
With Find Familiar, I can just change what Taklo is.
Yep.
Forget about
Do that.
that. Because we never ever change what our familiars are. So I just
No, we don't
forget
know
that. They're not,
that.
See,
they're
I
not
think
just
I
set.
had the incense. Detan's familiar is a bat.
That's true.
I used it once. It died, and I've never been able to resummon it before.
Oh my god, that's
It died in the
horrible.
hut.
Well,
Oof.
they go back. They go back to the fair when they poof, right?
Yes.
Or something. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you know they're happy in the fair, and they've never been killed since. So that's a positive. You haven't summoned it to die.
Llyvelin, do you have extra reagents to help Detan summon their familiar of long forgotten?
That's fine. My familiar is technically Ivan, who is a solid lump of rock right now.
So here is the thing.
Ivan.
My crow died a long time ago, and I summoned them back, and I've been too worried about them getting them killed again that I've just sort of been like, yeah, like I can poof my crow back,
Mhm.
my raven, but I've just never wanted to send them into missions because I don't want to get them killed. I've been keeping them safe this whole time.
What a kind wizard you are.
I know. But would Tackler like to go get killed?
Oh my god.
Taklo just sort of goes, no. Plus, they had someone in there who can like detect magic, so they'd pick me up as conjuration or whatever.
Well,
Mhm. Also, the moment they died, they would disappear. They wouldn't
Yeah.
leave a body of a bat behind, thus
it was just,
confirming, yes, that's a magical familiar someone's using as a scout.
oh no, the place is infested by magical bat.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Ah.
It was just an idea. Anyway,
Okay.
all right. So the if anyone wants to do anything this day, if not, then it would be the next night, but an hour later
Mhm.
than I did.
You know what? Just during the day, just for the hell of it, I'm going to patients. Might as well commune and ask the question because they might as well use the spell slots rather than all the rest of us just sitting here twiddling our thumbs and hoping we get the time right. It's
Yeah,
better
but
than
it lasts
nothing.
10 minutes. The scry lasts 10 minutes, right? And
Yeah.
during that 10 minutes, you see Hooksaw is not sleeping tonight. He is wide awake. He is keeping up, trying to maintain a constant alert, such to the point where he actually stays up the whole night and rolls a Constitution save to maintain staying awake. He
To be honest
doesn't
with
get
you,
any
yes.
exhaustion with that.
No, actually, commune wouldn't work.
And would that be the second night? Or is,
That's the first night of the 10
so-
minutes. You just
yeah,
check on him, and it doesn't look like he's gone to sleep.
Okay.
You can scry on them again a second time the next night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just skip ahead real quick.
I have a thought.
I think they fail again. Yes.
If we get so obviously to go in with Andy's plan of okay, Detan wants to make a deal. Detan writes a note, give it to Eirina. We throw Eirina in the ocean. I get washed up onto the brig. I start yelling about what a shithead Detan is as the messenger, and I try and get on the inside.
And if we telepathic bombed it before then, or Taklo hid in your pot, no, Taklo would need the range.
Like if you guys are going to be sat
telepathic
up here for a couple of days keeping tabs,
yeah,
I could try and make buddies.
If you want to do that while we're scrying and trying to find things. Also, I just realized you can't scry on someone for 24 hours only if they succeed on it. Not if they fail on it.
yeah,
So
but
I could scry on them an hour later.
Yeah, which is what I assumed you would.
Yeah.
Hence why I just told you they didn't
Yeah.
sleep. They stayed up the whole night.
Yeah.
I just basically freely gave you that information. Like, you can tell they're not sleeping tonight.
Yeah, they're on alert.
Mm-hmm. So Eirina, the plan is to get chummy with them,
Yes.
and you're a messenger from Datan.
Yeah, but I hate him. That's why he's sending me. He's like, "You're expendable. Bye."
My God, it's crazy. It's a crazy idea. I don't think it would work, but I'm not the dice, so that's all I'll say.
You want to do that then? I'm down for
mean-
crazy.
At worst, I get stuck in a cell.
And then we have one less person to deal with what's called
The cannons, you mean? Yeah.
the cannon.
Sure.
It's up to you guys. It was
All
just an idea, as I said. If we're going to be up here for 2 days or so.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's where I wish I was Elrond because I would have so many more options to play with.
It's likely they would still be quite suspicious of you.
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
saying like we're going to become besties or anything, but like make use of me, you know, if I follow orders and don't appear as a threat.
I'm
I
still
have
partial.
already rolled their wisdom save, and they have already failed for this next day.
Yeah.
So that does save this, because you're like, only if they're going to be here for a couple of days. It looks like this is happening on the second day, is when you're going to see.
I'm still partial to dropping Grimishkas on them.
Jeez. All right, we're getting off. I'm gonna try and speed this along so that we're not.
There's an actual better spell for
Basically-
finding out when he sleeps.
Yes.
Dream. Because if they're awake, you can just wait the full duration until they fall asleep. That gives you an 8-hour window.
Okay. Again, I'm also gonna speed it along.
Yeah.
I've already rolled the fail. I was about to say yes. You figure out when they sleep before 5 other ideas hit the board, but effectively, it seems as though staying up all night last night has taken their toll. But when are you scrying earlier or after last time? Because typically you saw the place was still pretty lively when you'd expect people to sleep. These are pirates, after
Yes.
all.
So I was going to do an hour later or so.
An hour later or so.
Yeah.
Okay. You see after an hour later would be they are still up, but they're looking really groggy. And after the last towards the last 10 minutes, you see them saying, you don't see them sleeping, but you hear them sort of saying like, I might wrap it up in an hour or so. Just looks like there's no attack after all. But still, keep a watch. I want a 24/7 watch going on. So make sure that there's at least always someone on guard. And you see them kind of yawn. They do look a bit groggy. They finish their drink. But yeah, you expect them to be going to sleep pretty soon, because they're saying like they're gonna hit the hay.
Looking for where they go to. Is that correct?
Where they go to sleep is still not something you know, but you definitely know they will be sleeping tonight, and somewhere within the prison, obviously.
So use a second scry in about an hour and a half, I guess. Or an hour, yeah, but
You
about
don't
an
have
hour.
to. At
If
this
we-
point, you could just have Andy go in and sneak around.
Yeah, and follow Huxor.
They're gonna need to sneak in regardless. So, yeah, you just know that they will be sleeping tonight at the very least. So, if you do want to save your spell slot, that's fine. Just let Andy do the job from here on out.
Tonight's the night then, guys.
Works for me.
He's heading to bed in about an hour. So we.
So are we apparently. By
Yeah.
the looks of the time. So look, let's speed this along. Patience uses a sending spell to make sure that this night is the night people are evacuating. And what is that? It's only it's only a third level. She could use 2 and tell the guards as well if you wanted. But I think they're assuming there's not much they can do anyway.
Yeah.
So I just say leave that. They use a third level. And he's going to cast invisibility. Yeah.
Believe so. Yeah.
If
Patience
we're wanting
is
to
gonna drink the potion.
before Patience drinks the potion, because of how long it lasts, I think if we're looking to have Andy basically be the killing blow or do as much damage as possible in one strike, because rogue with whisper bard levels, I'm thinking it might
Holy
be
weapon.
worth a holy weapon on their rapier.
Yep, figured as much.
Well,
Sure
it's
thing.
also, we do have the Leonardo da Vinci poison that she
Yep.
can lace her weapons with.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. Keep forgetting about
True
that.
assassination.
Yeah,
You should also use the potion of poison to spike their drink with that. Because you see that they are drinking and it looks like they are about to finish their drink. You could do that beforehand.
True. Yeah.
There's a myriad of poisons and stabby stabs we could do.
So let's basically enhance Andy's weapon as much as we physically can. Then Patience, Andy, Kesh'an,
Patience
I
can
guess.
also extend the spell.
Yep.
Of holy weapon.
Yeah.
They
Why
can also
not?
cast Death Ward on Andy just to make sure they're in.
Yeah, let's do that.
Extra protected. I think though
So-
Andy's one of the best at getting out of jail. Like just go into the astral, see they're gone.
Yeah.
So if anything,
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense to put it on herself, perhaps.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so strike team will be Andy, Patience, Kesh'an, and an invisible stalker.
Yeah, how's Kesh'an going in invisible? Or someone else casting that on him?
I mean,
Technically, I had
Llyvelin?
2 of those potions.
Oh, what? Sorry.
You too?
Yeah, it said I had 2 when I saw earlier.
I mean, I can make. What was it? 6
It
people
does. It says you
invisible?
have 2. And 2
I see
potions
one
of
out of-
heroism.
No, that's pounds. That's weight.
No. Look to the right.
Shit. No, you're right. Your quantity is 2. What the shit?
I can make
They
6
might-
people invisible.
Wait, what?
technically, it's
No?
nighttime.
Yeah, you have 2.
Yeah.
I just looked at Tidal Wave sheet. They had 2
Not true.
potions of mind reading, 3 dusts of dryness, 2 potions of invisibility, 2 potions of heroism. She really loaded you up. I think you and Tidal Wave are square at this point. I think you're even.
Pretty much.
Okay, cool.
I'd
Technically,
say that was a decent apology for
Yeah.
being a bit of a little bee the first few times I helped her. So
it's
We did have a
it's-
scene where she really heartfelt apologized to you, but I think you
Yeah.
had stepped away at that point.
she
Yeah.
clearly felt bad. So
it's nighttime when we're going in, right?
Yeah.
It will be, yeah.
Patience is strong enough to carry Kesh'an, right?
Patience is strong enough. Yes. She's 21 strength.
Because if he's not using any of his movement as in dim light or shadow and it's nighttime, he becomes invisible due to the robe of shadows until he uses his movement. So if someone's carrying him, he's not using his movement.
Okay. I see what's going on now.
But no, just have Llyvelin cast invisibility. I won't be that much of a dickwus feature.
That's funny though. To stand very still. Okay. All right. So that's So okay, let me just check. So we got
So, order of
Patience,
yeah.
Kesh'an, Andy as the team, correct? Anyone else? Datan?
The invisible
Datan the
stalker's
strike
going
team?
with them as well.
But then,
Yeah.
but then, but then,
I'm
Llyvelin
asking,
can't.
is Datan going
Is Datan going?
with the strike team to kill Huxel? Or are you staying away? Because you got 2 potions of invincibility.
Technically, no, it would be up to Jatan, but it would look good if he was standing with Huxor when he gives it that beach.
Yeah. Sure. Okay, Datan will go with the strike
You
team
do?
then.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're going with the strike team.
He
Yeah,
can make himself
Um,
invisible, so that's no extra.
yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because
So
Sean should use the potion because otherwise Llyvelin can't send the invisible stalk because both would be concentration.
Yep.
okay, all right. So
Oh,
you're
yeah.
concentrating on an invisible stalker.
No, I won't be able to
And
make us invisible if I do invisible.
that's why they're using the potion. The town's going to make themselves invisible, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
but I can't make everyone else invisible then.
No,
We
but
shouldn't.
Andy can do their own invisibility. Kesh'an can drink a potion, and Patience can drink a potion.
The only ones
Yeah.
you've got to worry about are yourself, Eirina, and Karius.
Yeah.
Which aren't going to be part of the strike team anyway, right? As I'm aware.
Not
Exactly, we're just
on.
dealing
No.
with the cannons.
Yeah, we'll be dealing with the
Cool.
cannons. So whilst they're dealing with that, we can just
Once
teleport down.
if this is Patience says if this is successful and we do manage to take him out before anyone else is alerted, and it's just Andy that needs to take their form, I can cast teleportation circle. I think it's a minute, right? Takes a minute to cast.
I think it might be 10,
And
isn't it?
if no, it's a minute if she uses the spell slot.
Oh.
And that I could, as I cast the spell, you draw a 10-foot diameter, blah blah blah, and we can teleport right back to Weep and get out of there. So me, is it how many people? Any creature that enters, yeah. So if they need to get out, such that it isn't just obvious when they walk out and they're like with a tabaxi, a little redhead girl, and the captain of the guard, they could teleport away with them. It would leave Andy on their own, but if anything bad happens to Andy, they can always go inside their cloak of stars.
Yeah.
So that would be the perfect way to get in, get out, right? Potion of invisibility in, and then we teleport out. And it's just Huxor. They believe it's just Huxor.
Yeah,
Waking.
and if we have telepathic bond in place, you can communicate that to us, and if you're successful, we shouldn't even need to attack the cannons.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we don't all go down at the
Precisely.
same time. We only go down if their plan
Right.
goes tits up.
Yes. Precisely.
Okie dokie.
Yes.
Sounds solid.
Cool. All right. She's cast
Solid
Death Ward
like
on
a snake.
herself. She's gonna cast Death Ward on. I feel like Kesh'an because he died here last time, but maybe Datan would be a better option.
My God, if Kesh'an dies to the alligator again, I will laugh.
You know what? Let's do it. Let's put Death Ward on you as well, Datan. Okay.
I will piss.
Make a note of that. Both Patience and Datan are Death Warded. She drinks the potion. She's invisible. Kesh'an drinks another potion. Andy uses violin. Datan, you're using your own spell slot, right? On yourself.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Everyone in the strike team, roll me a stealth check. I will roll Patience. She's not very stealthy. But this is a group stealth check, regardless.
Yeah.
Also, how are you getting down there? I know you probably want to fall down. Oh, Datan's got feather fall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the
It's not
potion
You
just
is
need
me.
to cast that, then cast invisible. You're gonna jump out, cast Featherfall, and then as you're falling, cast invisibility.
The thing is that I was looking, and
Yes.
I think it's wrong because I have a ring of Featherfall, but for some reason on
Okay.
my sheet it's just a spell. I got the ring while I was in the hut.
Regardless of if it's a ring or not, you casting a spell would end the invisibility, right? So just the order of operations, you need to leap out, cast Featherfall, and then
Okay,
as
that's fine.
you're falling, you do
Yeah.
that.
It's all good.
Yeah. Where is it on your sheet though? I don't see.
No,
Ring of
that's what I'm saying.
Featherfall.
It's really weird because in my notebook it's always been the ring, but for some reason it says a spell on my sheet.
Hmm.
But this isn't the original sheet. My original sheet was on Roll20.
Oh really? Wow, jeez. Well, this one is imported from Roll20, believe it or not. This is like the.
It's fine. Either way, it's the
Okay.
spell.
Yeah, I'll say just use a spell slot for now. You don't need them much for combat. But okay. Then what did we get on the old stealth checks?
Pretty darn good.
Ah, yes, the 10's old, the reliable talent.
I'm
Patience rolled
invisible
well.
without even being invisible.
Great. And somehow it's almost as if Kesh'an's got pass without trace with his +10 modifier.
Yep.
20, 20, 17. I think you pass with flying colors. Yeah, you are
21.
in. All right, that's sick.
There's a
Actually,
reason this is the strike team.
21 is
that's
the
so cool.
bridge.
We
Yeah,
get our
patience is the
music.
only. I will say that patience probably takes off.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was gonna say patience would take off her armor. She's no way gonna waltz in there with. I don't think she's even wearing much armor. No, she isn't. She's on 10 AC. Wow. Okay, never mind then. Yeah, she
And
has no AC. She is basically wearing what she's wearing in this art since she doesn't want to go in too loud.
Who did I give my leather
perfect.
armor to?
Probably Andy, but
No, Andy already has studded leather armor. Because obviously I got my
then
dragon scale.
No, you gave me the dagger.
no idea.
Hmm.
You had a studded. What armor did you have at 10?
No, I can't remember, but it's the armor I had before my
Studded leather?
dragon scale armor.
Oh, that.
We
I
took
think
it
you
off my
saw
sheet
that.
because it over encumbered me.
Yeah, it was heavy. It wasn't leather. It was like chainmail or something.
Okay, never mind
Alright.
then.
Okay, so she doesn't want to wear it anyway because it would be screwing up her stealth.
That's
so
fine.
that's why she's taking it off.
Mhm.
Right. So you guys literally like paratroopers jump out the airship by the dead of night. Your forms are going past the spotlight of the lighthouse as it spins around. You time it perfectly such that you whoosh down past the light and in complete darkness. Oh yeah, like it's the little lighthouse. There's Tackler as a hawk. Wait, I'm on the wrong map. Hold up. Where is it? Yeah, this one here. Here we go. He's like Tackler as a map, as a hawk. As you're descending, the only thing you see is bizarrely there are some creatures stirring around in the sand at this time of night. There's these weird, like you would call them like crustaceans, perhaps, long like centipede things that are scouring the beach, picking away at any morsels they can find. Some of them are near the drainage sewer, but you're not aiming for the sewers. You're not aiming for the truck. You're descending straight down this long shaft. There is a bridge in the center. Are you trying to avoid that as well and go, or are you trying to land on that? It's gonna. If you land on that, you'll be at the bottom near the brig. And then you'd have to work your way up. That's up to you though. Or you could try to land like wherever you want to land at this point. You guys are falling. You could land right here on the top, but you don't see Hooksaw on the top. on the Overseer's. What's it called? The Overseer's Summit.
From the scry, do we kind of know what room he's in? Could Llyvelin have described it to Datan?
You've seen when he was groggy. Yeah, he was in the officers' quarters, which is here, top
Yeah.
left of this section. This one here.
So if I know where I'm going,
Yeah.
then I would try to direct the team.
All right. Are you like all holding hands, like paratroopers?
Yep,
Just
with
like-
the invisible stalker as well, just like
Yeah, the invisible stalker. They're in like their.
which I
they're not in an
suppose if
outfit or
the
anything.
so I suppose if the invisible stalker is holding onto their hand, it could just be directing them because it knows where Hooksaw is.
Oh God, you're right. That's true. The invisible stalker just hunts down their target no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'll be
Come the
fun, I
line of
guess.
invisibility
Okay, perfect.
with the stalker at the front.
How do we actually know where each other are?
Yeah. This is
That's
This
why
is
I was
where-
asking about the hand holding.
Conga line. We jumped
Yeah.
to the conga line.
this is where I go. Oh crap! What about the telepathic bond? We definitely did that before you all jumped.
Yeah,
Sure, yeah.
which should
It was-
also
it
be
was
on the
discussed.
stalker.
All right, perfect. In that case, we'll take you to. What was it? I just said officers' quarters, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Going to this map. Okay. Bang.
Ah.
There you guys are. Still glowing. Probably don't want to turn that off.
Why?
Whoever
Seriously,
cares.
I'm
Stalker
not even
token.
here, and I don't even know why I'm glowing. It's unless I lit a torch while we were in the last place, and
Oh,
it's just
right. Eirina too. Yeah, you're light for some reason. Okay. All right. So the stalker lands, swoops round. It's got fly speed, and so does patience, and they direct you to land
my-
somewhere down
oh.
this balcony here. Dan, patience, Andy, Kesh'an. All right. So you all come to a halt by landing down very softly, thanks to the featherfall that basically puts you down on your feet gently instead of like clanging onto the metal railing. And you're looking around, trying to spot Hooksaw. Sure enough, he is over by the bar. Looks like he's kind of hunched over, leaning a bit too far forward in his chair. And it looks like he's about ready to kind of call it for the night. So what do you guys want to do? You're in position. You see Hooksaw, but he is surrounded at the moment.
Do we
by
want to
a
get
bunch of
to
others.
his quarters before him?
You don't know where they are yet.
Because otherwise he's going to get sus if the door opens while he's in there.
Yeah.
And while he's surrounded, we can't really do much anyway, right?
No, we can't. We need to wait until he's alone.
This is just the last opportunity to, if you wanted to try and spike his drink, you can, or
That's
you can avoid that part if you want.
The problem
But-
is that I could, or you could leisure domain, because obviously it's invisible mage hand, but you'd still see the bottle,
Mm.
and using it would take away the invisibility.
No, it wouldn't. I don't think. Wouldn't it? It's attacking or casting a spell that reveals the invisibility. But interacting
Yes.
with objects doesn't end the spell.
So with how quiet Andy is stealth-wise, could probably get up next to him and just pour the drink in when nobody's looking, sleight of hand.
What do you think,
'Cause the-
guys? I think everyone just sees a little bottle waggling.
Okay.
I
Do you
don't know.
think you could do it?
See, all the way up on the ship.
They nod.
Will help our
Yeah,
odds.
you can. And everyone can talk telepathically. I just want to point that out. So yeah.
Okay.
It will help our odds.
Can you get through that crowd?
I think so. I mean, there's a group of them, but they're all spaced out.
Okay. Go very carefully.
Okay, right. Stealth check.
Your stealth check is already pretty good. That's for like getting in. This is
Yeah.
going to be more of a sleight of hand.
Sleight
You
of
just
hand,
slip
okay.
it in. Yeah, just you get up right next to them. They don't see you coming. Looks like they're just about to finish their drink. Oh my god!
Ring a ding ding!
Oh, brilliant. Okay, yeah. You managed to do it as they're taking their final swig. Somehow managed to like put it in just between their face and the cup. Somehow managed to slip it in with a tiniest little bit of movement, pouring it into the glass as they're drinking it. You've never seen such a maneuver before. In fact, you will never see such a maneuver because they're invisible. So you don't see the masterful stroke that Andy pulls as the potion of poison is dripped into the glass, into the cup. Now, what does this do again? Potion of poison. It smells and tastes like a potion of healing or other beneficial effect, but it's actually poison masked by illusionary magic. If you drink it, you take 3d6 poison and must take. Okay, so you can roll 3d6, Andy, and I'll roll a con save. Damn, fucking
He's
failed that one.
poisoned.
Oh dear.
3d6, yeah?
Yep, 3d6.
He might die before he gets to his room.
13 points of poison damage. He starts sputtering. What is this disgusting grog? And he tosses the mug. That's it, I'm done. I'm going to bed. My eyes. He seems to
At
stagger,
the end
nearly
of each of your
crashes into
turns, you
you.
repeat the saving throw. On a successful save, the poison damage you take on your subsequent turning decreases by 1d6.
And at the start
Yeah.
of each of his turns, whilst poisoned, he takes 3d6 poison damage.
It makes him feel sick enough that he's going to bed, which is what we want.
Yes.
Yep.
So we can get in that room.
Come on, guys.
He nearly staggers into you, Andy.
You just need to be
eyes
ahead of
are,
him
like,
to be able to
blurry.
be in the room before he is.
His heads are sort of spinning. He like staggers here, stops himself on this doorway here. Get out of my way! And nearly shoves this pirate off the railing. He's like, whoa! Oh, hey,
Yeah,
sorry, sir.
The urge I had is Kesh'an to just push him off the edge when he came near the edge. Oh, that's feline instinct taking over there.
I'm guessing we're all
You hear him.
following.
Yeah, you can follow. Yeah, absolutely. The elf who's like, Captain, are you all right? You don't look too. And as he says that, Hooksaw grabs a hold of the railing a second time. This time, puking out over the railing. I'm going to roll another con save.
And he also has to take 3d6
God.
damage.
Fuck, another fail. Shit.
Oh my god.
Oh my god!
Oh, that's a heavy one. I rolled it for you, but that one was heavy.
It would be better if he doesn't die before he gets to his room.
Don't be worrying. We needed to stay alive for a little bit longer.
Captain, you've pushed yourself too hard this last day. It's perhaps the stress of the. Shut up and get out of my way. Right. Yes, Captain. He wipes his mouth clean. Everyone kind of gives him a wide berth. Even the Dragonborn sort of steps out from outside. The other two captains aren't in here right now. My head. It's pounding. This would be the quarters up here on the top right. It looks like he's got his own room sorted out. He's converted like the storage room. Okay.
I can't move
looks
the
like
invisible
everyone's.
stalker, though, by the way. Thank you.
Here we go. The invisible stalker. You want permissions over this thing, Llyvelin?
Sure.
There you go. You should be able to move this thing now. Okay. Yeah, it stalks them invisibly all the way into their room, where you see they immediately collapse down on their bed, and they didn't even close the door. They're that like bewildered and poisoned.
I will close
So
the
they're
door very slowly, quietly.
Almost like, when a fridge door
Slowly,
closes on
quietly.
its own.
Yeah. Soft close.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would say give me a stealth check for that, but we know how
It's
that,
a 10.
that check will go.
We know how that's
So,
gonna
yeah.
go. It's fine.
Yeah. Reliable talent allows you to reliably close the door carefully without slamming it and causing attention. But with the noise that's going on in here, Hooksaw almost sounds like he's being stabbed to death already. He's just like coughing it up. I'm going to roll another save. Let's just see what happens now.
I think if Andy's gonna, if the Tan's gonna slowly close
Oh,
the door,
save.
I'll be just kind of like look to say to the Tan,
Lock it.
I can. I
just
have
to make sure that no one comes in. Like,
trusty thieves tools. I can lock the door.
Hmm. Sure. Why don't you roll 3d6 this time, James?
Oh,
Everyone
James
can have a
is
pop at it. Yeah,
Sure.
James can do it this time. We'll make this like a Julius Caesar thing. Okay, 11 damage. I'll add that. Now it's down to 2d6. And you're watching him puking up his guts. And
Wait
after
till he
about...
stops throwing up.
He's still going. He's now down to 2d6 until... Yeah, on each of his turns. So anything you guys want to do as a whole round goes by? Or are you waiting?
Do we want to Leonardo da Vinci poison?
Andy's kind of like looking at him thinking, I feel kind of bad. Maybe we should just put him out of his misery.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
just-
do, doesn't Andy want to get the killing blow?
Yeah,
So if you do,
That doesn't matter.
or does it not
Andy
matter?
has,
Just
has some of the Leonardo da Vinci poison on one of her daggers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh,
Andy
that's-
the Tan.
the killing blow doesn't matter. It just needs to be a dead body.
Yeah. Within.
Yeah.
They just have to be there when they die.
Yeah, within
Oh.
30 feet.
Which I well am in.
You
Give
can.
it
So
Give it another round.
You can. The poison's still taking its effect.
Okay.
All right. But we'll say that you do apply the Leonardo da Vinci poison as you're waiting for this poison to take hold. You coat
Well,
up a
we've got
dagger
one out, you
with
know?
another
Yeah.
load. Just double the dose, just to make sure. Right. Let's say another con save for him. And it's down to 2d6 this time. Jamey, you can roll it this time.
He cannot swallow his poison, can he?
Jamey got 8. No, apparently not. You'd think he'd be hardier. That's still a fail as well. So if he is on that
Yeah.
amount. Okay, there's a knock at the door suddenly, and you hear the Dragonborn from before. Captain, are you sure you're all right in there? I'm fine. I'm just gonna sleep it off, I think. I'm just gonna get the rest of it out of my system. He starts like visibly like jabbing his own tonsils. Oh god. Alright. God damn it. That's another fail. Steph, roll 2d6. Another 6. Give me some water. As
No.
you wish. They will head back to the bar.
Okay, we need to do this now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Before this dude comes back.
Right.
Do you?
And he's got
They'll
dagger
do-
out.
they'll-
No.
Yeah, you could just wait it out until
Yeah,
after the
wait
water's
for
gone.
him. Wait for him to give the water, because otherwise, we're not going to have time enough to escape via the teleport. Because unless Andy's the only one who attacks, and we think it'll be enough. And
we know
invisible
this
stalker
guy
goes.
can detect magic, so be careful.
I see. All right.
Just stay quiet. Just stay very quiet.
Okay. So the
Lock the door.
hold.
Oh,
Everyone's
yeah.
like hold. There is about a moment later. He comes back. I'm just gonna roll Hooksaw's con save again, and we're back to Kirstie. You can roll 2d6.
Well, he succeeded. It's 1d6 now.
Succeeded.
Oh,
No,
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 it's
it starts as
2d6 and then...
2d6.
Yeah.
And then it's now 1d6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, this has done so much damage. It's done over 70 at this point, nearly.
Oh my god.
Okay, the door. He goes to open the door. Is this still locked?
No, I unlocked it. I did say that.
Okay, perfect. That's why I'm double checking. Unlock the door. The door opens again. Comes into the room. Oh, Cam, you look. You don't mind me saying, you look like shite. Here. And thanks. He kind of sits up, takes a sip of water, rolls another con save.
Oh my
And
god.
it still rolls. That's still a d6 of damage. He immediately sputters and spews it out. James, you can roll d6.
Please don't die yet. Please don't die yet. Please don't. Leave
He's
this
not
dragonborn
bloodied
to
yet.
me.
The Dragonborn looks at him and goes, I don't think this is stress, Captain. I don't even think it's the grog, unless one of the other pirates is... You don't think they're starting to question your leadership here? I have overheard a couple of the freebooters down there mention about not wanting to live in this filth and scum. You know, they used to live on boats, right? Open seas, the sea salt spray in their hair. Enough of your yabbering. Though, it could have been that drow. They use poisons.
Oh god, this poison is sowing so much discord as well as damage. It's ridiculous.
That's discourse, yeah. I'm gonna roll a medicine check for this guy. And he's gonna see if this is like if he can figure out. Nope.
Oh god. Oh thank god.
Yes.
Captain, you're really down that last string, so there's no trace evidence left, but I mean I could pick through your puke if you want. It won't be
Oh
necessary.
no. You're all stood watching
How
this.
loyal are you?
Every person invisible in this room is wrinkling their nose like you.
Go keep an eye on the drow. See what he's up to. Aye, Captain, and I hope you feel better soon.
No.
I'll be just. I'll be just. He goes to say fine, but instead, yeah, it fine bits of pukes come out instead. Yeah, go ahead, Jamie. Roll a d6. Two. It's getting. It's wearing off. I can feel it. It's wearing off.
Okay.
If you say so, Captain.
Okay.
All right.
Have a good alibi.
Closes up the door. He closes up the door and goes to find the drow. And obviously, you don't see what's going on in there, but maybe there's a confrontation happening somewhere else. One more con save. Come on, please. This poison is awful. Yes, I succeed. Right. Guys,
Last
you can roll the
D6?
last d6. Yeah. One last d6. 4 damage.
This is so
much.
good.
Okay, guys, they still look fairly hardy. Like they spit it out, wipe their mouth clean, collapse onto the bed with a heavy sigh. Finally, I think that's the worst of it gone.
Incapacitated as well when they're asleep.
I can finally get some rest.
Right. Okay. This is
Go,
it.
Andy.
Yep.
Go, Andy. There's your chance. Stab, stabby.
Sorry, I'm just looking at something.
Kesh'an is ready to bonk him with the quarterstaff raised above his
Yeah.
head.
Incapacitated is an auto crit if it hits in melee, innit?
If they're incapacitated, yes, correct.
No, I can't do that. It's fine.
So they're going
Oh,
to sleep.
Are we doing initiative, are we?
Yes, please, yeah.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine, just click it.
So Leonardo da Vinci, sneak attack.
I will leave Patience in charge of you, James.
Yep.
Jamey, you got the invisible stalker. Go ahead and roll that onto initiative, Jamey.
What? Where? Oh, there it is.
Hooksaw may well fall asleep quicker than he had thought, since the poison really downed him
Am
there.
I initiating an attack then, or is this literally now?
Which
Why Kesh'an's on the initiative twice, or Andy's on twice,
Oh,
for
damn
that
it.
matter.
What did you roll first? Yeah, 1 second, Kirstie. What did you roll first? 6
4.
at the time.
Oh.
4 for Andy.
6.
Yeah.
10.
Kesh'an's first
Okay.
one was 15 of the 2.
Which is that one. Okay, cleaned up. Okay, it looks to be the case. Yeah, Hooksaw is in full me mode and snoozing away. Go ahead, Andy. You can make the first attack if you wish. You got the blade. The holy weapon. I didn't know which weapon you wanted to put it on, but I stuck it on your +1 rapier
Oh, okay.
because
Cool.
that's
Is,
the hardest
well,
hitting.
we wanted it technically on the one that's got the poison on, so can we say we put it on the rapier then?
That's fine. Yep. And you have advantage, so roll that again.
Oh God. That's bad.
Oh.
That's a bit better. Okay. Yeah, that went from
You've got to roll
to
pinchy
brilliant.
poison, which is
Isn't all dice rolls doubled if it's a crit, including the
This is a
pinchy
crit.
poison?
Yes, I think so.
it
Wait.
is 6d10
What?
DC 18.
No,
Yeah, it
no,
is
That's not right.
because we
Yeah.
got it from the two-headed the Tinkali, was it the scorpion thing?
It was a two-tailed Tlin. No, it wasn't a Tlinkali. It was
No.
It was the purple crystal scorpion.
Yeah, but
It was
yeah.
It was basically Skarna. Yeah, which was one of the hunts that you were sent on from Cal Hatter's cage. Okay, so that's insane, right? That's probably because it's like a crazy high powerful creature, if I remember.
Mhm.
All right,
Mhm.
DC 18. That's a huge ask.
Yeah, I've got that as well. D10 in it.
Damn, I still
for mine.
failed.
It's 6d10.
Yeah,
But it's
62.
doubled. It's doubled because it's a crit in it. It'd be
So the
12 D10.
$1 million question.
I'll
Does poison damage double? I'm not googling.
But doesn't she also technically get sneak attack as well?
Yep,
Yeah.
which
Oh,
would
yeah,
also
yeah,
be
roll
doubled.
that twice.
So let's do this. We'll roll the poison damage.
Right.
We'll roll a sneak attack.
Uh-huh.
That might be enough.
Yeah, there's a
We
thing
go.
here. According to Crawford, any poison damage device delivered by an attack,
save.
injury poisons, but it's delivered by the
Yeah.
attack, isn't it? So, oh yeah, but then it's the save. So, I don't know.
Let's roll 60-10. Ow. That stings. That's really stingy. Then roll your sneak attack twice. And I will just point out, Andy, you can also use psychic blades. There's nothing stopping you,
Which would also be doubled.
which would also be doubled.
I can't find it on your sheet. I can't
Psychic
figure it.
blades.
Untick that because for some reason it says 0.
You can expend a bardic inspiration to deal an extra 2d6 damage. This psychic damage increases when you reach certain levels. 5.
Yeah, she's rolled it.
3d.
She's-
So that's 2.
So you're. It should
It's
be
another
5d6.
38.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's another 38 damage.
and then your
Holy
sneak
hell.
attack.
Oh my god.
Sneak attack, there it is.
You haven't
roll
had
it
a sneak
twice.
attack yet?
Yeah,
What's going on?
consume a bit.
Oh, no, wrong one.
That's
I haven't got my
good.
glasses
Yeah.
on, so.
And then roll that again. Oh my god. Also, roll another d8 because we haven't done the crit for the weapon.
Another 3d8
Haven't
because
we?
the holy weapon would be
Another
doubled as well.
3d8. Yeah,
Oh
so
my god.
another 2d8 on top of that. And that's what, another 15?
Yep.
Yeah.
They are
108.
choking up on this blood. Yeah, that was a lot.
Of course, now Andy would
Holy
be
shit.
visible, and you can probably see it. She's probably got a different look in her eyes right now.
Oh
And she's
my
almost
God.
covered in gore.
Murder,
118.
murder, murder.
Yeah, 118 damage in one attack.
What the
Holy
hell?
shit.
Damn! She's a deadly little thing.
With
Oh my
Poison.
god. All this, so much prep, so much like
to
I'm
get
literally
everyone
going on
else
their
in.
own.
so many tokens placed on the map, and yet one strike is all it took. Andy, yeah, do you want to describe to me exactly how that goes?
I think in some ways, this little girl has a lot of rage in her from, everything that she's done through life and everything that she's had to experience, and all these people who kind of like are high and mighty and try and control everyone. And of course, in a way, she's almost seeing this person almost the same, letting these people basically live in squalor instead of trying to actually do something.
He's as bad
for
as
them.
the Sultan was.
Technically, in her mind, he's as bad as the Sultan. So probably as soon as she did that first strike, she's literally almost sat on top of him as she's dealing all this damage. And it's almost like her eyes have lost their shine. Think like a shark's eyes.
Mm.
And it's almost like in that moment, she herself, the happy Andy's completely gone. She's literally in rage mode right now. And she's like, you know what? I'm sick of these sons of bitches, just thinking that this is okay. So
Wow.
she's probably feeling disgusted with the fact that she's going to have to take his face as well for a while. So you can probably see she's got that on her face, like she's almost disgusted with him.
Yeah. He doesn't even get to yell out as a reaction since he's like slayed in his sleep, the blade driven through. The poison surges up and into his veins, choking his last moment. And you just see, perhaps waking out of some kind of dream, you see his like eyes roll back, and he says, "Oh, and I was up for parole." Oh. And they fall back, dead, no longer moving.
When she
Kesh'an's like that. Oh god, sorry.
Yeah, she probably feels that he's not moving anymore underneath her, and she can't like feel a pulse or anything. She just kind of like sighs, gets off, blinks, and her eyes are back to normal. And she goes, "Well, that went well."
Do you want
Kesh'an
me?
is about to leap in, like ready to punch, and then he's like, he's frozen, not by the fact that Hooksaw's dead, but probably from the sight of you, because they're from their angle, they can see like those dead
Oh yeah, he would
old
have seen
eyes,
everything. Yeah.
and like all his hair is stuck up on end, and kind of backs
The
away into
man
the
will
corner
go
again.
over and just put a hand on your head. He knows he's been there himself.
It's weird because it's also like, because of course she wears those twin braids. They would have been dunked in the blood, so they're probably dripping right now. They probably look like
Ugh.
paintbrushes on the end.
God, yeah.
Patience will, as part of this, I would imagine you'd have captured the shadow because that's a reaction as they die, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In
Oh god,
so
yeah. What does that look like?
What does your mantle of whispers look like?
Remind me what it says. Capture shadow.
Just capture their shadow effectively.
Yeah. I'm guessing her very own shadow would do this almost. And I don't know if you guys have seen like more sinister versions of Peter Pan where the shadow is a demon. it's almost like that, I would imagine, and her shadow literally
Right.
reaches and grasps for it and almost pulls it in.
I'm just imagining really long fingers.
Yeah, like it's like slightly, like when a shadow stretches longer.
The end of Princess and the Frog, where Cecilia
Yeah.
gets dragged
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, similar to that. It looks like her, but it's not her, sort of thing.
Oh, creepy.
It's almost, that side of her you just saw a glimpse of, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of like tugs his shadow and pulls it to her. And of course, naturally...
It's all her... That shadow is her repressed rage.
Yeah. And of course, naturally, that she would then form into him.
Yeah, I like to think that as the shadow rips the Hooksaw's one away, they kind of don it like a cloak, like your own cloak of stars, but it's a cloak of shadows. And as that cloak forms over their shoulders, so too does your appearance suddenly shift. And
She grows in stature, she gets broader, and and she's kind of like going, why do I always end up a man?
In which case, with that bit dealt with and successful, should I either disintegrate the body, or if we're going to teleport out, just take the body with us and then leave you to do the next step?
Yeah, get rid of the evidence.
Okay, patience will turn the body to dust.
I will pick up the cup of water that the Dragonborn brought in. I'm gonna empty it out, and I'm gonna pour... I've got a potion of healing. I'm gonna pour the liquid into the cup, hand it to Kesh'an, and be like, look after that. And I'm gonna pretend like Datan has come and seen he's ill, given him a healing potion as like a truce.
Yeah.
So then that way,
okay,
if I do get caught, I can be like, well, part of the deal.
gotcha. Right. Okay.
Right.
Interesting. The invisible stalker probably just folds their arm, pouting. You don't see this, but that's their whole being, is to take down their target. And now that they're dead, I guess their existence, their reason for being, is no more.
They're still under my command for an hour.
Sure.
And he's kind of like trying to adjust
He
to
would
this
probably
new body, bending it around, kind of sort of checking herself out in a way. And she's just like, how do I look?
Wonderful.
Brilliant.
Very scary.
Right. I guess.
It would probably float back up to Llyvelin, and then Llyvelin would send it back down to be like, yeah, your orders now are to defend the group if any fighting happens.
I mean,
because it needs orders, otherwise it just goes into defense mode.
Sure.
At this point, do we want Kesh'an? Do you want to teleport out with me?
I will need to go to bed in a minute as well, guys. So
Yeah,
I've got
that's
work
fine.
tomorrow.
So we'll quickly speed this along. You disintegrate the body. Andy, there is blood stains everywhere, but you have something very easy to get rid of that.
Oh yeah.
Prestidigitation. Exactly.
Wow.
So that's gone. Any remaining dust that was Hooksaw, gone. And you can just leave the puke on the floor. Patience begins casting Magic Circle and says, all right, it's only a minute. Hopefully it doesn't raise any suspicions. Just check the door. Thankfully, no one comes back within that minute. You can get all of you guys gathered up, including the invisible stalker, in case
Can I...
that mage... Yeah.
I'm gonna take my hat off and give it to Andy, just in case she loses the form too soon.
Okay.
That way, she'd have to attune to it, so she'd have to unattune to something.
Patience says, just be wary. If the invisible stalker stays here and any magic items, that mage with detect magic might pick up on it.
Yeah.
I can do Nistel's magic aura on the hat to make it look non-magical.
The problem though with that is it's an hour to attune, which is the same hour that the mantle lasts.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
It's a good idea though.
It is an achievement.
It is. The Have
Is it
Disguise
achievement?
is achievement. Yeah, that was the thing.
Damn. Okay. All right.
Probably
Cool
done that
idea.
earlier, yeah.
Definitely would have done that earlier, but in this case, I'm
I
gonna
only
say
just thought about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
That's
a good
alright.
idea, but yeah.
they
Ah,
can
yes.
always get into the Cloak of Stars if they do run out of this.
Yeah.
Magic trick. Poof.
Yeah.
hmm
Stalker
But-
can come back up then.
He's going to do a Bilbo
Yep.
Baggins.
But
You're
if
all
you need
going to leave. I'm going now.
Yeah,
Goodbye.
if you need me to send, if you need me to send the Stalker back down, we can do that.
All right.
Like the Visible
Andy,
Stalkers, yeah.
You can address the group. You can call for a meeting and address the entire band of thieves that are present
yeah.
here. And
That would give
there's-
the others a good opportunity to work on the cannons if everyone's being pulled into a meeting.
okay, yeah.
That too.
And you can do so by standing on the railing, and everyone on each floor can see you. So they don't necessarily have to be away from the cannons necessarily, unless I would say the outer ones probably would be,
Hmm.
but the top ones not so much. So there are 3 cannons that can be accessed. But
I think-
the other 6 are on
I think-
top, and they can see straight down.
I think cannons, if the people don't listen to you, and we
Well-
do have to strike down, you might be able to get them to just all go.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Well,
do
we'll
the
see.
cannons just yet, but
I mean, if
Okay,
the
let's-
outer...
Believe in Andy. Believe in Andy.
She's kind of like trying to
All right.
get into the role right now, you know.
Yeah.
just remember you get a +5 to any of your checks as well.
Yeah. So she's just like hollering out, "Come on, all you lot! Group meeting! Group meeting!" She's like trying to pretend she's still a bit chesty from having just thrown up
Right.
guts.
Yeah.
So
For sure. You see the pirates, thugs, bandits, and thieves gather round in droves. Some of them are looking down from higher balconies. Some of them are looking up from lower.
cool. And she's just like, "All right, you sorry lot. That bad grog I had just now got me really, really thinking about shit and stuff. And I don't know about you lot, but I'm sick and tired of living in this shithole and this filth. I have been
Yeah.
in conversation with the old captain. He has informed me he's willing to make a deal with us lot, which would mean we get a chance to leave and actually make a better life for ourselves than living in piss.
You mean we go back to pirating?
We can go back to pirating,
Oh.
but of course, you lads, you got to remember he's going to have his own side of this deal. So he is coming, and we got to listen up to him, all right? Because if you want out of this place, and you want to see the open ocean again, sorry, that grub was awful. Then we got to listen to what he's got to say. What do you guys think?
Hmm. How can we trust him?
Look, I don't trust him as far as the end of my nose. But to be honest, I'm sick of 4 walls. I'd much rather listen to what he's got to say, and if we don't like it, well... But I don't know about you guys. I want to be back on my boat. Sailing the ocean. Pillaging. Meeting some lovely fine women, you know.
I can get behind that. All right, let's see. Give me, I guess, this is a whole mix of things. You're not only persuading them, you're also trying to keep up a performance, being this guy. So let's let's go with performance first. So how well you're acting as they are.
And she gets a +5 to that because of the disguise.
Does she? Wow. Okay. So even with a bad roll, it's still flying colors with that. Okay. So 23 on a 4 is insane. Okay. People seem to chalk up any nomas about the character to being like you just drank some poison, right? So they don't seem to question it. You're absolutely right to like. I liked when you were like covering up when you said like, "Oh, sorry, yeah, that grog was awful." Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, that's understandable. Yeah, it's all right." Yeah, we all have a voice crack from now and again. And now for seeing if they will abide to your orders and make sure that they listen to Datan when he shows up. That will be a persuasion check. Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay. Well,
Meant to
there it
be.
is. I think
It's meant to be.
it was meant to be. The dice have decided this goes well, swimmingly well. So swimmingly that the whole of the swimming city is saved as a result. Now,
She
the
just starts going,
pirates...
yeah, and like trying to pump them
Yeah!
up with cheers and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's set sail!
Oh no,
yeah,
no.
you see
Remember,
them-
we gotta listen to him first, and then we can set sail.
All right, we listen to the
But yeah, the
mustachio...
bag's ready, mate. You know, go and get your
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go grab the grog now.
yeah.
You really want
Yeah.
the grog?
Yeah, we'll go pack
Oh, we're
our
taking
shit
that
whilst
with
you talk to that Ponce.
Yeah.
I know he's a bit of a sissy
Perfect.
pants, ain't he?
Fantastic. Well, and I think, Andy, you can also have inspiration for that. amazing-
Maybe have
Right,
a-
got it. Of course you do. Yeah, you can give it to someone else.
Saving it in
Uh,
case it went wrong.
Didn't even need it. That was fantastic. I will let you.
Oh, man.
I'll let you give inspiration
This
to
is how I
someone.
built Andy to be.
So Laffy
Well-
didn't like this place, but Andy, she fits right in.
Yep.
That's
Brilliant.
true.
I think that was
Wow,
one
what
of
a
Andy's
full-
shining moments. That was.
That really was. That's fantastic. Oh my god. Perfect. Yeah, for this place to having this place caused you so much, like, let's be honest, trauma for poor
Yeah.
Andy has
poor
done
Laffy.
in less than an hour something Datan has been trying to do for months.
Yeah.
And all it
Incredible.
took was some poison and a holy weapon.
All I can see is that after that, she's just like, "All right, guys, I need to puke again. All right," and
And
she
the
just like
funny thing
staggers
is-
back out to the bedroom.
The funny thing is, we could have just sent her in on her own and she'd have been able to do it.
Could have. Really could have.
Practically, yeah. Practically, yeah. That was fantastic. What a went
Oh,
off without a hitch.
God.
You did enough damage that I wasn't expecting that much that I was going to be able to like call out for help, but I didn't even get to roll. I did nothing. Like I had no turn. It was just an outright uber crit. Do you want to know how much HP you had to begin with?
Yeah.
A pirate admiral, which is this new stat block here, has 182 hit points. Melted. Absolutely melted away.
But we
He's
did
been
like
down by
we
himself.
we did like 70 of that with the potion of poison.
That's true. That was well used.
Yeah.
And you can thank Tidal Wave for that one. What she
Yeah.
was doing with that, I have no idea. But you know what? Tidal Wave might not be so bad after all for that little help.
See, it's not,
Well,
it's not even like you can
there we
chalk it
go.
down to rogue levels because you only have 1d6 sneak attack.
No, that
That
was
was just
hard.
pure
Psychic
damage.
blades
Yeah.
That was
Poison-
mainly her bardic stuff.
Yeah.
That's so
and the
cool.
pinchy poison. The pinchy
And the
poison was
pinchy
well
poison,
used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't even need the double on that dose, but
Do you
wow.
know, do you know
Incredible.
what the best part of that is? Is I also have a dose of that.
No, you-
Yeah, so does Eirina.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, there's no way you had 3 doses of that.
I had 3,
Yeah.
that was it.
We
So
rolled
delete
really
the one off
well.
of Andy's sheet, and we'll say that's been used.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
remember, Llyvelin is one to take what he can from a monster, and I'm pretty sure I critted critted on the crystal,
We used both of those, didn't we?
and you gave us 3 of them.
Yeah.
And we used...
Wow. A potion of poison. Yeah.
But,
nice.
yeah.
Well, a concoction well used.
Yeah.
I think
That
we
seemed a
can
good
leave the
place to
fallout for
wrap
next
up.
session. I think we can't peak. Yeah, we can't top that peak. So yeah, fantastic place to end. Well played, everyone, and congratulations. I think Fort Midden might well firmly be in your hands now. Datan can just take over from here.
Yep.
Fantastic. Well,
We cleaned
thanks,
out the
guys,
midden.
for,
Can you imagine that?
You
The time
did.
coming back. How did it go? And she was like, easy.
It's like, yes,
Yeah.
they're all willing to leave.
So we'll wrap it up there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for playing. We'll be back for the next session of this on the 11th. But if you enjoy our content, join us Sunday for the Icewind Trackers, Monday for the Jumping Junipers, Tuesday for the Mistaken, Wednesday for the other Icewind group, and next Friday for the Hidden Shrine group. Bye for now.
Oh, boy.
Bye.
Bye.